Hey guys, welcome to episode 6 of Stardust and Sweatpants podcast. I'm sure you guys have noticed the major thing. Sevon is not here yet. We're not sure if she'll be joining today. She was not feeling well last night. She's still not feeling well today. We're hoping that she'll be able to come in, but if not, our love goes out to her. On today's episode, we will be talking do's and don'ts from the reader's perspective and the client's perspective. If you guys have any questions about anything we're talking about, if you want to know more about something, it's 11:11 on 111.
Oh my God, 111.1.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, it's 12:11 for me, but
I had to shout that out. But feel free to let us know in the comments. You guys know we'll put your comments on screen. It's very interactive. Whatever you guys want to know, we're here to channel it. We're here to talk about it. We're here to help you guys out. And we're here to honestly shed a lot of light on things that people don't necessarily know. People don't want to talk about with the pros and cons of getting readings, the do's and don'ts of getting readings, the red flags of getting readings. I mean, we're going to try to talk about it all, you guys. With that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Stephanie so she can kind of get us started.
So we're very organized today with bullet points and highlights. So basically what this whole thing entails is from our perspective as readers, our perspective as readers who have gotten readings from other readers, and like kind of how to be tips on how to be more constructive and getting the most out of your readings. So we're going to go in order of like the hot topic situations and just give you some of our advice and insights. So starting what metaphysical readings are meant to support versus replace. For me personally, getting a reading is a support situation, not a replacement situation. If you need therapy, you can get readings, but you also need to be with a therapist or a counselor. If you are asking about health, we can give you advice. We can tell you what we see, but also you need to consult a doctor. So it's a great way to get self-awareness. It's a great additive, but at the end of the day, there's a lot that you have to do for yourself in terms of hot topics like mental health, physical health, legal issues, etc.
Yes, it's like if we're doing a breakdown with this, hey Victoria, if we're doing a breakdown with this, it's like you guys are your own person and you guys are in control of your own life. And theoretically, in this, your life is your vehicle. All we are is like a navigation tool in that vehicle. All we are is like Siri telling you how to get to a destination, and all the routes, all the options, all the pros, all the cons, the things in your way, the things you can overcome. But we're not there to drive the car for you or to be you or to live your life for you or to dictate how anything is going to go.
Now, and we're all individuals. I don't think that it's any other person's responsibility to take actions in your life except for you.
Right.
We're just guides.
Yep.
The next one is the role of free will in any reading. Jordan and I talked about this earlier. If just from an astrologer standpoint, if you call and ask me about your job, your career, we're in a reading based on your profession, and you're like, am I going to get this promotion? Should I change jobs? All of these other things. You have to understand how many other factors are incorporated in this. Your boss has free will. The person that owns the building you work in has free will. All of your coworkers have free will. And then there's just universal things. You could be on your way to interview for that position that you want to get for this promotion, and then you could be stuck in traffic and be super late, and then that looks bad on you and not get that promotion. If it's a Mercury retrograde, I could tell you Probably leave extra early to make sure that there's no traffic or things in your way for this interview. But that was a cluster of things that is kind of like unpredictable, which is part of the universe. Absolutely is. So free will is for everything. Your coworker who said that they weren't going to apply for that could suddenly sleep with the boss. Like there's all of these things that I can tell you the potentials and the risks, but we can't predict everything involving everyone because free will is a huge thing.
Exactly. Like I can't tell you how many times someone's come to me under those same pretenses and asked, hey, am I going to get this bonus? Am I going to get this raise? Am I going to get fired even? And I can look into it and I can give them an answer, but then they almost always come back and go, oh my God, you were right. I did get it, but I got it because this person got fired and this person moved and I got pushed over there and then all this crazy stuff happened that you didn't see. Because I'm not trying to read the whole environment. I'm literally connecting to an answer for just you when you're getting a reading. And all of those things matter. And like Stephanie said, those things can change as well. And it can alter what I originally saw for you. So it's so important too that when you're getting a reading, you always know that your intuition of what your gut tells you is more important than what someone else said to you, no matter how good they are, no matter how many times they've been right in doing readings with you. What you know about yourself and trusting your own intuition is the most important thing ever.
Absolutely. And I find this, but sometimes I find that some clients ask if they let's use the example about a promotion. They want to know if they are going to get that promotion because they need more money to pay their bills.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't even want, deep down, they don't even want to be at their job.
Yeah.
So you have to, yes, you're asking me, yes, you know, your career house is highlighted. You have Jupiter transiting through it. You have all the good luck and the potential there for growth. But is it something that you want? And deciding that for yourself before and after your reading is important, because I could tell you the opportunity is high, but you have to decide whether or not, okay, do I even want to still grow here? Do I want to earn more money to where I feel even more stuck to stay with this company? There's a lot that starts with you when it comes to these topics.
Yeah, and then that puts us into the whole like don't ask, don't tell policy. Because maybe you come and you do want to know about a promotion, and then I go, I don't even see you working for this company anymore. So promotion, no. Financially, if I look into this for you, are you making more money? Yes. But then there's this whole period in between this ending and this new creation starting, and there's financial crisis in the middle. And then that spirals you way worse than you were before you even wanted to ask about a promotion. So don't ask, don't tell. It's a policy I've always had. I'm pretty sure it's a policy Stephanie has, because once you open that box, there's no telling what's going to come through to get you to the answer, to the information that you're seeking from the reader, from the person that you're asking.
Yeah, absolutely. Next topic is understanding symbolic versus literal messages. I mean, it's just that. Sometimes it's an energy, sometimes it's a vibe, sometimes it's so weird, there's no real way to explain it, versus absolute literal messages like this. Mm-hmm. This is what I get. But the symbolic one may be just as strong as the literal. It's figuring out what it is in reference to, in which case communication between the reader and the person getting the reading needs to be on point.
Yeah.
Because there's an underlying reason why this energy is coming up for you. You need to be able to know that. And then we're getting something, but if you want to hone it in more, communication is key.
Yeah. Like, because something symbolic for me will mean something to you. So like recently I was live and I was doing readings and I kept getting this image in my head over and over again of this woman in like a prom gown type thing. And to the point that I think I said it like 6 times during a reading and I was getting on my own nerves with it. but it was overwhelming me to the point that I felt like it was so important and it needed to be said and it needed to be reiterated. And I didn't know why. I wasn't going to try to figure it out. And the woman that I was doing the reading for wasn't there. So I just had to do what I had to do in the moment. But come to find out later, I got sent a video clip of exactly what I saw. And they were like, there's no way that I would have known that, or that this could have been misunderstood, because the symbology is exactly what you said, and it was from the person that they wanted to hear from in spirit, to let them know that they were there and they were a part of everything that they were doing. And it was a whole reading about how this woman did not need me. She needed to be in the moment. She needed to be in the present. And anytime she was thinking about this person in spirit, that was their way of letting her know, I'm always there. You can't get rid of me. It's like, smelly fart. You want it to go away, but it won't. It can't.
It's lingering.
Yes. So that energy was meant to be there. It was meant to kind of be like the highlight of that whole reading, because that woman needed to know that beyond everything else, beyond my own psychic connection and my ability to connect with, a spirit, she was already connected and she was already getting messages from who she wanted to hear from. And the reason she booked the reading with me, it was already there in her own reality. So a lot of that information, to me, it was all symbolic. It was like, oh, maybe not even trying to figure it out, because I wasn't. I was just literally like, this is the exact image in my head, because it's not for me to figure out. But I feel like that's something we need to talk about too as readers, with that whole aspect of it, of like symbology and like what's true. Because like as readers, you don't know why you're seeing something. And a lot of times we'll talk ourselves too much out of even giving that message. And someone will come back later and be like, this happened. And then we go, oh my God, why did I not say that in the reading? It was bothering me. I wanted to say it. I didn't know. Maybe we don't know how to be received, or we don't even know if it's accurate because it just seems so fucking out there, and we hold ourselves back too much. And then the thing happens anyway, and it kind of comes as like a validation that we need to just say the thing. And that's why I always say that whatever comes to mind, the first thing you get, that needs to be the thing that you say to somebody. It is never meant to make sense to you.
I just say everything.
Yes.
Because I'll ask them questions and they're like, not right now, not right now, not right now. It doesn't always have to be right now.
Mm-mm.
Whatever. So when I get weird feelings, they always show up in my body. And then I have to describe them. And usually I use like a song or a situation or something that happened in a movie to like describe what I'm feeling, what I'm picking up, what the energy feels like in something relatable to the client.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say anything that I feel, if suddenly I feel like my throat tightening up, or suddenly I taste something gross, suddenly like my stomach just feels off, and I feel dizzy, whatever the situation is, I say everything, which is why my readings are long as hell.
But it's important that we do that too from the reader's perspective, because the things you don't say will bother you later, because you haven't disconnected from the energy because you didn't give the information. So say you're in a reading and say you don't notice maybe in the moment that your back is hurting. You just think you're sitting weird, so you're adjusting and you're just like, oh my gosh. And then when the reading's over, your back doesn't hurt anymore, so you're really blaming the chair. You're like, oh, I got out of the chair, my back doesn't hurt anymore. But anytime you're interacting with that person, your back starts hurting again. And then finally you're putting two and two together and it's like, oh damn, maybe it wasn't me that whole time, maybe it was them. That's why it's so important to say what you're getting and say what you're feeling, no matter how it comes to you in each reading that you do as a reader. And it's important as a client to be receptive to any of that information. Like recently, I did a reading and I was talking to this woman about some gut health issues and something to do with the reproductive system. Wasn't her I was connecting to. I was connecting to her mother. And as soon as I said this to this woman, she was like, that's about my mom. She knew, I didn't. All I knew was I was connecting to this energy, and I knew not necessarily what to do about it, but I could see inside the body. I could see what was going on to give information to help her when she went to the doctor, to be able to maybe, share this in a different context, or put more symptoms out there that maybe she wasn't advocating for herself for before, or even bringing awareness to her family, because it was her daughter I was reading. But it's so important too, because if I wouldn't have said all those things to her, I would have continued to feel that way for a couple of days after that reading, because I didn't leave it all there.
I get clients stuck in my head when I don't say everything.
Yep.
So I just constantly replay what that situation, and it's very annoying to have that stuck into your head because now you're trying to rationalize a message for someone else and you don't even know that person's life.
Mm-hmm.
So you're trying to come up with, well, maybe it was this. Well, maybe it was that. Well, I don't even know if they do that. Like it's annoying. So I just say everything.
Yep. Same.
Kind of have to.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is how energy, timing, and personal readiness affect accuracy.
Yeah.
If take a minute, take a couple hours, take a day, when you freak out and book, and then you're still heated in a situation. And I find a lot that if you're still in your feelings about it, more than likely there's going to be projecting, there's going to be pushback, and there's going to be a whole lot of things that you're not ready to hear that you insist on hearing.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that you're going to feel some type of way when we're done with our reading, and you're not going to realize until later, like how things needed to go, how like the timing in which things needed to happen. If you're panicked, if you're hesitant, if you're scared to death to find out information, you need to ground yourself a little bit before you book and come into a reading, because it can affect a lot of things, including the dynamic between reader and client.
Exactly. And that's what I was going to say too. Whenever you're already frantic like that, you're already giving your power away to someone else who doesn't need it because it's your life. You have to make all these decisions at the end of the day. Is it okay to get some insight? Yes, but it's not okay to build your whole life off of the insight that you got. I've had this happen way too many times, and it can literally be somebody coming to me going, am I going to move this year? And then I go, yes, you're going to move. Here's what I see. Here's the whole setup of the place. This is what it looks like when you walk in, this, and this. And then every single time they get a reading with me, do you still see that? Do you still see this happening for me? Like, there's so much more that goes on that I can connect and channel to. And I've already given you that information. So why are we back here? If I've already said it and it's already happened, and then it'll come to fruition. And then it's like, oh, this must be what you were talking about because this is exactly what it looks like. And this was the play out. And I did meet this person and it did lead me to this. And then all this stuff happened. And then they're like even more frantic because all that stuff happened. But now all of a sudden they don't feel connected to this place and they don't want to live there. Okay, I wasn't telling you had to live there. You asked me if there's an opportunity to move. Yes, there's an opportunity to move. This is what that opportunity looks like. And it could even be that that's just part of your manifesting journey to get you to where you're supposed to be, but it doesn't have to be that exact space. That was something that I saw. Remember Siri? In the Siri directions, this is a landmark. You got to pass this landmark to get there. If you don't pass this landmark, it ain't time yet. If you find this landmark, keep going. You're on the right path. That is basically what these markers are. It is up to the client, really, to interpret what the psychic is saying when we say stuff like that. If I tell you something like, there's going to be an opportunity with this person, you'll meet someone with this name, or this is what they'll look like, or this is the age group they'll be in. It doesn't matter what it is. All that you need to know is that, holy fucking shit, I saw the Burger King. I'm almost there. You know what I mean? Like, this is a landmark. You're passing it. You're driving. You're on the right course. Keep going. And if at that point you want to book a further and go, hey, I didn't really feel connected to that. I'm not really sure what to do with that. Was this the place for me? Do you see anything else for me in this? Fine. That's fine. But as far as like banking everything on one vision I got and a set of instructions I gave you, that's giving your power away. And then you get frantic and you're like, oh my God, well, if I don't, jump on this opportunity that she said, am I going to fuck everything up? That's why I always say you can't fuck up what's meant for you. You can't fuck up what's destined. All of these were things that were meant to happen, like landmarks to get you to where you're meant to go. And I feel like that is another reason that people get so frantic with the whole, like, wanting a reading, not wanting a reading. Should I do this? Should I not do it? Because they give so much of their power they give to us as readers. And us as readers, we have to be able to look at that and go, maybe it's too much right now. And then like Stephanie and I were talking earlier about respecting it so much when clients come to us and go, yeah, so I'm leaning on you too much. I'm relying on you too much. Too much of what you're saying I'm internalizing and it's becoming my life. I'm going to take a break from readings. A reader should never attack you for that. I don't give a shit how you say it to them. It should always be respected for you as a client when you want a break from readings, or the other way around and the reader needs a break from trying to help you. It should always be respected no matter how it's coming, because it's not meant to hurt anybody. It's actually meant to help that relationship and help you in your own individual life.
Everything about a reading is a connection. So we're connected to you, you're connected to us, we're all connected to the universe. Sometimes, depending on like this, the speciality of the reader, we have different connections. So my connections is to the cosmos, and Jordan's connections is to spirit, and all of these other connections. So we can form bridges with the universe that you may not be able to access. However, you still have the own bridges to yourself, to the universe, to spirit, to the cosmos. So sometimes you have to not, eventually when you know the way, you have to stop using GPS and just get in your car and fucking go.
Yep.
And if all you ever do is rely on GPS and you're not learning your way, you might have to take a step back from readings.
Mm-hmm.
And a good reader will always respect when you make those decisions for yourself. And more than likely, we will have already picked up that you're becoming a little dependent on our connection to the universe as opposed to your own.
Yeah.
So if a reader ever says, girl, you can't make that decision without me, fire that reader.
Oh, no. Immediately.
Mm-mm. Or if a reader claims to be 100% accurate all the time, fire that reader. We're not. It would be impossible for us to be.
Even that shit where they're like, you should have checked with me before you did that. The fuck they should have. Who the fuck are you? They're supposed to. The whole point is you're the driver. It's your car. You got lost. Maybe you're not sure. You check in. You get back on the path. It's never, I always need this person to help me. That should never be true.
No. And if they say they are, that is a red flag in a reader.
Exactly.
So the next one is the do's before getting a reading. Set a clear intention, not just curiosity or fear. Now, for me personally, I'm different. I love when people are curious.
Yeah, same.
I love when they're curious because holy shit come on their face. Mm-hmm. When things start adding up, that's one of my favorites. But the fear, it's rough. It's like how you feel when your house is burning down and then the fire department shows up. And in respect to client reader, I would be the fire department and you would be in the burning building. That's a lot of energy to throw at someone. So when you get readings out of fear, not only do I have to do what I usually do in a reading, but like calm down the client.
Yeah.
So it's again, that grounding thing. Take a few minutes, calm down a little bit. You can still be worried. You can still be fearful, but don't be full on panic by the time we're face to face, your phone to mine, because we're going to spend a lot of time calming down and reassuring and not enough time getting to the concrete things that are coming up in the readings.
Right. Victoria said, I've noticed I've done this, so that's why I disappear a few weeks sometimes. We've all done it. We've all done it as a client. We've all done it as the reader. This is the whole point of this podcast episode, is to share with you guys what we've learned. We've been every version of everything we're talking about.
I've done it.
Yep.
Like I've thought about taking a risk in business and been like, I should get some insight in this. And then I'm like, you know what? Fuck that. I know what I'm doing. Like, yeah. And then just made the decision on my own. Mm-hmm. But sometimes I get a little worried and a little fearful and I'll pull that trigger and I'll say like, ooh, was that a good move? And then I feel like I need insight outside of myself. I can read myself. I can read my chart, but also too, if I'm going to do the work, I also have to receive the work. That is a very real belief of mine.
It's also important to note, since we're talking about a little bit about red flags and readers too, that a reader should never be like biased over the decisions that you make. So let's say you're in a relationship that maybe you know is toxic, and it's come up a few times in the reading that it's toxic, and you haven't done anything about it. The reader should never be dictating what you should and shouldn't do. Why are we still here? Why are you coming back? You're still in that shitty relationship. Nothing new is going to happen. Get rid of that reader. Nobody should ever be talking to you like that. And it's not a safe environment to be in, because what else are they projecting on you if they care that much about your personal life and what your personal journey is? I've had people follow me for 8 years and been in toxic relationships, and it's never changed how I interact with them, how I talk to them. I've even had people where I'm like, you know what? Respected for me, myself as a reader, I'm going to bench that topic and I won't read that topic for you anymore. Whether it is their family or it is a relationship or it is a neighbor or it's just something going on in their life where it has become toxic between them and I won't read it anymore. I'll read you on every single thing else, and maybe something about it will come up, but you are already hip to the game. I've already told you everything I could, and I'm burnt out telling you about it. So it just becomes a non-issue for me anymore as the reader, and we can move forward and I can read other things for you. But you should never have someone telling you that, you know, your life's just going to remain shit if you remain in this shit relationship and blah, blah, fucking blah. Because so many other things can happen, and it can't all be dictated on one decision you make and one person that you're with. That's a projection from somebody who has not healed themselves, and they should not be doing readings, period.
If I see a toxic relationship, I will point out how that affects the client, how staying in that relationship affects the client, the potential on how it will feel once the relationship has exhausted itself. But also in your chart is a time frame of how long there's a lessons teaching moment and time frame in relationships and when people come into your life. So is this a karmic relationship? Is this a lesson learned relationship? And in which case, have you learned that lesson and have you not yet? And some people I know can't get out of those relationships yet because they need to learn that lesson. And then they have that aha moment. And then finally, that emotional disconnect can happen. So sometimes it's just about getting that information. Whether or not they do anything with it is, but if they come back to me and about the relationship, I'm like, it's exactly the same thing I told you. So let's talk about health, or let's talk about mental health or something else. I'm like, it is exactly the same as what I told you before.
Yeah.
And then we just move on.
Right. And sometimes, like, a good reader will know that we read you. We read your energy. We read as close to the truth of your soul as possible without the interjection of your ego or your trauma or your pain or anything else. So a good reader will know that you may need to come to us for 7 years over the same topic because you need to be reminded of who you are, how you actually feel, what the truth of you is, because maybe you are being minimized and you are being traumatized and you are being abandoned or whatever it is that's going on with you in that relationship or whatever is happening with you. And at no point for that reader should that become a problem. It becomes a problem not because of the way that I explained it, but in that, like, you know, when you keep trying to get us to read something that we have opted out of reading, that's when it becomes a problem. And that is usually when a reader will break up with you. I'm no longer your reader. I'm no longer in alignment with what it is that you're looking for and what you need. I will no longer, this doesn't feel positive to me anymore. It's time for you to freely be able to move forward and make your decisions. And it's time for me to move on as well.
We can't take actions for you.
No. And we can't be to blame for the actions that you take either because of a reading that we did. That's another major one.
No, absolutely not. The next do is ground yourself emotionally before the session, which, not freaking out, not being fearful, not being in a projecting situation where you're lashing out.
Mm-hmm.
Although I don't personally mind being someone that others constantly come to vent, At the end of the day, this is still a paid service.
Yeah.
And you have other friends that you can scream at about your life. And then when you're calm and ready to make the most of your reading, that's when you reach out to a reader.
Exactly. I agree with that 100% because it takes away so much from what the organic connection is that that reader has when they initially sit down with you. So if you come into a session and you're like, oh, this stuff happened and they did this and then this happened and then I lost my job and then my cat, something happened and then this over here and then finances and blah, and you're using it as like a dumping session, that immediately takes the organic connection away, especially in like psychic and mediumship readings, for me to be able to just see what's coming up for you to help you. Because you're frantic, there's frantic energy coming at me. So then I have to ground myself, you, the information you just gave me, all the exterior, and still have the energy to be able to refocus and muddle through all the shit you threw at me to figure out what's the most important thing. Do I even want to read any of this? Is there something else going on? And having to separate again from you while I'm sitting here listening to everything you're saying and ground it all again and then get into a good flow state to be able to help you. It is exhausting and it takes up so much additional time. So like, let's say someone books a 30-minute reading. In the first 20 minutes, they're kind of like trauma dumping everything that's happened. Well, then that leaves 10 minutes for me to try to help you. And then it doesn't even feel like good organic help. It kind of feels like backpedaling because you threw all this stuff at me all at once. So I have a major rule in readings with me is I'm the one that talks the first 10 to 20 minutes, and I will always leave a window at the end to ask questions. And you are always welcome in any reading to stop something that came up. Maybe somebody came through and you have trauma. You're not ready. Or maybe something's coming up in your personal life and it is so hot and heavy and you're just like, this is not what I wanted this reading about. That's fine. You can stop me at any point in time and I will move forward. But what's not fine is to come in there and tell me, I'm worried that, my uncle's going to pass away and this is what's going on with him. Da, 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 da. You already gave me too much information. To me, that feels gross. And now feels gross. It feels like I don't get to organically do my job and, connect naturally. Now I have to singularly focus on this thing. And then there's that whole don't ask, don't tell policy. You already know something. You already probably know that person will pass or something, family drama. You already know it all. You just want me to validate it. That's something that needs to wait till the end of the reading. Let me connect to whatever. And then whenever, like say you do come and you do have a topic you want to discuss and you do want to highlight, and maybe it is mediumship. And so all I ever ask in that is that you tell me spirit message. I don't want to know who you want to hear from. I don't. And if I connect to 3 or 4 people and maybe the person you booked this reading with hasn't come through yet, you can just tell me more spirit messages. Don't tell me who it is. Don't give me male or female. Don't tell me if it's a friend. Don't tell me if it's a pet. I don't want to know any of that. My whole objective is to give you whatever the loudest, biggest, most, not necessarily influential, but kind of energy is that is available to you at the time. And all that power gets taken away if somebody comes in and says, I need to know about all this. Save those for the end of your reading or whenever the reader opens up the opportunity for you to ask questions. Every reader is different. I just so happen to talk a lot and very fast. And I try to get as much information to you as possible in a 30-minute session in that first 15 to 20 minutes. And I leave 10 minutes for questions at the end. And most times I go over a little bit too in my readings.
Same. I'm mad about it.
Same.
I'm very bad about it. So the next section is don'ts before getting a reading. And this one I think is a very, very, very personal trigger for Jordan and I. Don't reader shop for answers you want.
Yep, I brought that up on the last one because that pisses me off to no avail. Because if someone comes to me and they go, am I supposed to be in this relationship? And I take all that time to explain to you every side of that coin for you, what it looks like if you do, what it looks like if you don't, why this is coming up, the truth and what I feel in your soul, what you need to let go with your ego, the closure that you need, whatever the fuck is coming up in that relationship. And then you go to someone else and that person says something else. And then you go to someone else and that person says something else. Or maybe three of us say the same thing and you're not happy with that. So you find a fourth person that will finally tell you something else. And then you listen to that fourth person. And then you come back to me and you go, so I got a bunch of readings and this one person told me this and I did it. And now I don't know what the fuck to do. And then you come back to me after I already took my time giving you all the pros and cons, all the yeses, all the nos, all the fucked up things, all the everything you could possibly need to know. Maybe not everything, but everything I can channel, that I can give you, that I can see that you need to know on that situation. And then you do the polar opposite and come back to me to fix it. Why? Why are we here again? If that was the advice you wanted to follow, go back to that reader and let them tell you how to get through it.
I work a lot of big events where there's multiple like vendors and readers in a singular room for 2 solid days doing their thing. Now, sometimes I will see people go to like a psychic medium and then head over to a Reiki session. Fabulous. 2 totally different things.
Yeah.
I've seen people go from like astrology with me to going and getting some sort of angel reading or whatever. 2 totally different things. But when I see someone hop from one reader's chair to another, 2 tarot readers, 2 different, oracle readers, and they're just going around the room, I'm like, that person is looking for the answers that they want, not what actually is.
Yep.
And at that point, if you're trying to construct your own answers, don't ask. Just do whatever it is that you want to do. I cannot understand getting validation where you are self-validating, either staying in that toxic relationship or, all of these other things. It just doesn't make sense. And what you think that those readers can provide you with other than really bad validation. And I almost feel like it's a way for that client to also not take accountability.
That's the big thing. If you go to 5 people and 4 of those people have told you the same thing, and then finally you find someone who will just tell you what you want to hear, how toxic is that?
That's bad.
It's real, real, real bad.
It's real bad. The next one is don't treat readings as absolute fate.
Yes, we were just talking about this with the whole Siri in the car situation.
Yep.
Landmark, not fated, destined. This is the end of it because this is how far you got.
Don't ask the same question repeatedly, hoping for different answers. Even for me, the planets always change. Some things remain the same, and that's you. That's your birth chart. I analyze your birth chart and I compare it to everywhere. It does not matter what zodiac sign Saturn's in. You're a Virgo moon, right? There'll be certain periods of trials that you go through, but you are still you.
Yep.
So every time you ask a question over and over and over again, you're still the same.
Mm-hmm.
The answer is probably still the same. You might be going through something different right now, but you and the answer will still be the same. Don't waste your time on repeating yourself and asking the same question.
Yep. If there's an opportunity for you and we see it, let it be. If there's not an opportunity for you, create it if you want one.
So, how do you choose a reader for yourself?
That's a big one.
Yep. Intuition versus credentials. Finding balance. I prefer to work from home. Obviously, this is my space. I love it. I love being it. Right now, I am wearing like totally comfy clothes and no shoes, and I'm living my best life. But my favorite thing about doing like in-person big events is I see some people doing what they're supposed to do where they're just like vibing the room. And I love watching them either be like, nope to my energy or like get sucked right in. Or people that keep coming back and back and back to my area. And they're like, I don't know why. I just can't leave this booth. I feel like I need to talk to you. So I'm going to go ahead and book a reading. It's my favorite thing when people seek me out intuitively.
Yeah, same. They'll be like, I just saw you. Don't even really know what you do. I just felt drawn to you and I knew I had to book a reading. I have no expectations of this. Tell me whatever. I love those. Maybe they're like, I don't even know what psychic mediums were. I'm just curious. Boom. I love those. You don't always have to have a monumental thing going on in your life or reason or whatever to book that reading. And that's fine too. Sometimes it is just, I was drawn to you and I want to know why. And that's why you book the reading.
It's my favorite thing. Because I know that my energy is not for everyone. But when the ones find me, I'm just like, yep, they felt me out. Let's do this. But the credentials part of that is popularity doesn't always mean alignment.
Yep.
So you look at these really big readers on TikTok, on YouTube, on Facebook, whatever, just because they're super popular, just because you sit there and you listen into their lives or you watch their videos and you're super like, I really like this person. That does not mean that you personally are going to align with them or that they're going to align with you. At the end of the day, you're energetically seeking someone out, but you don't know that a reader may not like your energy.
Yeah.
You may not be their cup of tea. So right. Just because they're super popular doesn't mean that they're for everyone.
Exactly. And I think it's important too, like, especially with like psychics and mediums, have you seen them live? Have you seen them live in like a one-on-one, or are you just seeing them piece together something the way that they want the narrative to go and they're posting it based on that? Are you seeing real action, real time, real results, real testimonies, you know? And if you are there any negatives? Because anyone who does readings at any point in time should have both.
This brings up something that we didn't even talk about. So I also make spiritual products. Mm-hmm. And they have a list of descriptions and how they work. Fine. I have signage on my website and on it at events that say what I do. But the biggest thing for readers is word of mouth.
Yeah, facts.
And I find that either people don't want the world to know that they're out here seeing an astrologer or a psychic medium, or they just aren't a very good review person. But if you love your reader, leave a good review.
Or share it out.
When you do that, you help other people find a reader that can help them with their issues.
Yes.
So that goes back to the credentials. Like, because I know it's annoying. I don't know. Have you ever received like a receipt from a restaurant that says if you fill out the survey afterwards, you can receive a discount or whatever? I almost never do that because I'm like, dude, I'm not taking the time to do that. So I get the desire to not do that. But like, we're not talking about like how much you enjoyed your Big Mac.
Right.
It's whether or not you had a life-changing experience or found someone that could help you through troubled times and might be someone for someone else out there. If you have the time, leave a review.
And leave a descriptive thing too. Not just about like what you experienced in the reading, like, oh, she told me this was going to happen and it happened. How did it make you feel? That's what I want to know when I'm going to book a reader. Like, feeling, even when I met Stephanie and I booked a reading with her, and it blew my mind the things that she could connect to. And in that reading, I was like, she's my person. I knew it before, but like that reading solidified it because she wasn't afraid to tell me about myself. She wasn't afraid to talk about, you know, deep things. She wasn't like love and light fucking frou-frou bullshit. She was like, here's truth. Here's what's going on. Here's your good months. Here's going to be some tough months for you. This is what you can expect. These are the things that are happening in your birth chart. It was so raw, and I love raw, and I love honesty above all else. And I loved that connection with her. And I was like, she'll always call me on my shit anytime I need to be called on my shit. She'll see me when I won't let anyone else see myself. She'll understand me in a way that other people won't, because that's the kind of reader she is. So if I was going to have someone book with her, that would be how I would say, if this is what you want, book with Stephanie, because this is exactly what you're going to get. So when you're telling someone about booking with a reader, why should they book with them? You need to be able to say all of those things too, and actually talk about the reader, not just what they can give to you, but like who they actually are. Are they blunt? Are they honest? Are they raw? Are they sensitive? Are they gentle in their approach? Are they supportive? Are they giving? Are they understanding? Are they nurturing? Like, what is it that you can use as a descriptive term to help someone else find what they need in getting that guidance moving forward? Because sometimes we're really shitty about talking about ourselves. It's like a block like fucking everyone I know has. If
self-advertising feels so gross to me.
Yes.
And they're like, you need to put yourself out there more. And I'm like, I will literally die if I do that. I can't do that. And it feels gross. This is another thing too of something that I would leave a review on for Jordan. A lot of people, and I hate to say this, when they do their readings, it's bang for buck. So they give like a bare minimum in a short amount of time to keep you coming. Jordan fires shit off so fast that you're like, wow, that's a ton of information. And it's supposed to be. Some of these other readers don't do that.
Yeah.
Some of these other readers are not going over those time slots. If the message is that important, we stick with you. Mm-hmm. Even if that means we're a little late. But, or if I feel like somebody's listening to me, but they're not actively listening to me, and I got to hammer that home, we're going over time limits here. So being a person that will put extra effort, like they're in that 30 minutes, 1 hour, Jordan is dedicated to you in that time frame. And that is something that I would say in her review about her, so that people would know, like, 30 minutes doesn't feel like I can get a much out of that. Yeah, you can.
You better get your camera out and record the whole thing.
Yes.
Walk out of there, you're going to be like, what the fuck just happened?
Take notes.
Yes, that's something else too I wanted to talk about. Like, I'm a human being. I'm a person beyond just being a psychic medium. I'm a wife. I'm a daughter. I'm a sibling. I'm a mother. I've got pets. I've got a household to run. I have so many things to do throughout a day that even if it was only 20 people that were messaging me updates from their readings and encouraging things and how the reading helped them and they want to send someone else my way or whatever. I love that. I love the support. I love the care. I love the validation in the readings. I love all of that. But it's also important to know too that I'm busy a lot of the time. So am I going to turn around and message you back in the same day? No. You may not hear from me until I go live again. And I'm like, hey, I read what you said. I really appreciate that. And sometimes I'll give you a reason and sometimes I won't for why I why I did or did not message you back. But at no point am I trying to be an asshole. I'm literally living my life.
And just like your lives are unpredictable, so are ours.
Yes.
So, and I do this. Okay. So we also have issues. I have this ADHD thing where if you message me, but I can't dedicate my time to that answer, I'll put it in like pin in the head, get back to this person about this. So it might be a while because I feel like I need to be ready for your next comment. So I need to make sure I have time to give you my energy and my time and the consideration in the question or comment or whatever. The next thing is, and this is part of my ADHD thing, if I'm busy or I'm in a reading and a message comes through, I try not to check it immediately. One, so like the little bubble stays up, so I remember I need something to read. But every now and then, my dumbass will tap on it, and then the bubble goes away, and then I'll get busy. I'll be in a reading. I'll forget about it, and if I forget about it too long, there's that guilt of being like, "Hey, sorry, I saw your message," but then 3 days later, I was peeing, and I was like, "Shit, I forgot to comment," and now I feel like I can't comment.
Yes.
Because I've just forgot about it for 3 days dealing with life and everything else. And now I feel like it would just be a slap in the face for me to finally reach back out to you. So we're still imperfect beings, just like
Exactly.
everybody else.
It doesn't mean we don't care. It doesn't mean that you don't matter. It doesn't devalue you at all. We have shit going on.
Sometimes a lot of shit.
Yes, exactly. And also, here's another reason that I super love taking notes myself and sending them to my clients is because one of my major pet peeves, and I'm not one for being mean, but I will be if it comes to this, is if you come to me and you go, you said XYZ, and I know damn well I never fucking said that. I have the receipts because I took the notes during your reading to be like, I'm not going to discredit the fact that a reader did say that to you, but I know damn well I didn't say that to you. And I will go look through all of the times that I sent you those receipts, and I will read through all that shit, and I will find where we did that reading together and prove to you I never said that shit, because I can't stand that. I can't stand when someone is triggered by something and uses it and projects it at me as if I'm the one that said that. Don't do that shit to me, because you won't like the outcome of it. I didn't like that you did it, and you won't like how I feel about it. It's so disrespectful. And then to go, okay, well, even if you weren't the one that said it, can you read it? No, now you pissed me off and I don't want to read that. And now it feels like a projection of my own ego. And if I do read into it, it's probably not going to be accurate information because now I'm mad. So that's not fair either. Don't ask me to do that. I can't stand that either. And I also do not like it if you already discredited another reader because you don't believe what they said to you, and then you bring that discreditation to me, and you also want me to play this game with you where we discredit another reader. No, if your intuition didn't vibe with it, why do you need me to validate that? You don't. Whatever they said to you is what they said to you, and it has nothing to do with me, and I will not be looking into that. I hate that game. I will not play it.
As a reader who's been with other readers, like consistently, not everybody works the same way. I know people that are like, I don't know why I say all this stuff. And I'm like, you were always picking stuff up from way far in the future or whatever the situation may be. Or would I ever discredit another reader?
Yep.
And not to mention that, but everyone reads things a different way. Everyone picks up, we're still ourselves. We prioritize information. People have draws to certain energy. For instance, I don't know why, I'm a trauma draw.
Mm-hmm.
I pick up people's shadow. The second I pull up somebody's birth chart, boom, shadows. That's what I see first. And then I have to refocus back down into the basics and ground the reading and do what I see. But that is just what I pick up, which is why my specialties in astrology are what they are.
Right.
Other people are going to pick up other things. That doesn't mean that what they said was wrong. It's just not what you're prioritizing right now. And that's your priority, not the reader's.
Right.
That's why you need to ask questions. If you have a priority in mind, ask the question. If you want career, if you want relationship, ask about those questions. However, just know that for me personally, if I'm picking up a little bit of that answer, but it is not the overall vibe of the reading, your priorities may not be where they should be for what's coming up or what you're going through now. And in that case, it is your choice to take what I give you and redirect your priorities, or you still get your answer from what your priorities are and just keep on trucking, knowing that there's something in the background that could be coming.
I also really cannot stand it if someone comes to me and they go, all this stuff happened and between me and this other person, and Then you want to know what's true or what's false or what's real or what's fake or what's make-believe, and you want me to read the other person. That person didn't pay me for a reading. That person is not here right now. Why do you want me to intrusively look into someone else's energy? The question to ask at that point is, how do I heal? How do I move on from this connection? How can I find closure? How can I create closure in my life and be willing to hear the fucking answer? Because most people, when they come to me with questions like that, they are in a vindictive energy. They are in a fuck them, fuck that person, fuck all this, burn the world to the ground energy. And they want to know that something in that person's life is going to be fucked up because they hurt them. That's not a good energy to be in when you get a reading.
No.
And I may tell you I don't see a positive outcome for them, but I'm not going to get into fucking details about what is or isn't going to happen in their life with you. I won't. I'm not that reader. I'm not that person. And if someone is doing that, then you should be questioning who they are and what their morals are. Because odds are, if they're doing that to people that you want to read, they're doing it to you when you're not allowing energy, exchange for them to be reading you. They're doing it about your life. They're doing it about your loved ones. They're doing it. I mean, I would never trust somebody like that. Even if somebody came to me and said, oh, you got to be careful because I feel like this is going to happen to you. And it's going to be because of somebody else. That's fucking weird.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I immediately just don't like you.
As a rule, generally, I won't read somebody else's birth chart without their consent.
Yep.
Now, there is a situation, it just depends. You ask me if I do it, because there's a lot of variables. If a mom comes to me and she says, that her and her kid are having, tension, how can we better communicate? I'll compare the charts and be like, well, your Mercury's here and your Mercury's here, and he's a this sign and you're a that sign and whatever. And this is where, you lack in communication. This is how to better that. There's things that I will do in terms of that.
But see, that's a positive question. It's not like a mom coming to you and going, did I raise a narcissist? And they want you to pull up the birth chart to see if their kid is the problem. Fuck that, and fuck them for asking that, honestly.
So, but and don't get me wrong, in my personal life, I'm petty. I have roasted the shit out of my friends' exes. However, in general, I won't do that. So if you're like, hey, I have a crush on this guy and I found out all his information, can you tell me about him? No.
Yeah, it'd be different if you say you're a Cancer and then you find out he's a Scorpio and you're like, are these signs compatible? What are the pros and cons? And you want to hypothetically know something like that. But then you also need to know that you're not giving all the information, so you're also not getting all of the information.
No, just sun sign to sun sign is bare minimum.
Truly. So you can't base your whole decision on whether you would be a good fit with someone based off of just that alone.
Yeah. And then also world topics. I tend to not, what's going on in the world. I might give in my updates or whatever, some things that I might, this is going to be a rough year, y'all.
Yeah, we said that in the prediction.
Yeah. For the US, it ain't looking good. Right? But honestly, my main focus is, when you get a reading for me, let's talk about you, right?
Yep.
The United States has a birth chart. The United States is going to be going through things. We are, I don't think we have any other countries, but we're a part of that collective. But the only thing that you are in control of is it starts with you, and it starts at home, and it starts in your community and your car and your phone and the roads that you take. It's get back in. I don't want clients freaking out so bad about the state of the world that they can't live in their own lives. That's not where you want to be.
Yeah.
Because the only thing you are not in control of this situation. Mm-hmm. You are not in control of when we're talking about the United States and 250 years of existence and the outer planets, and it takes 30, 40, 50 years for them to go, these cycles that are going to come around. You only get to see it once. You're in that moment once, but this is the cycle that you are a part of for right now. So let's talk about you.
Yeah.
You're just a little tiny part of an overall thing. You're in control of this part. While you were here is for your community, for you, for your family. Let's talk about that. I don't want people worrying about things that they're not in control of, because a lot of people stress way too much out about things that they can't even control.
Yeah. And I feel like, too, that's a way to disassociate from their own lives, from the things that they fear to control. They fear to change. And it's like, you can't run away from all of that in search of something else to focus your energy on, because collectively people are focusing their energy on that. Whatever you're running away from is begging for your attention.
Yeah. And what issues are you running from?
Exactly. Or what is it the fear that this big, world thing is bringing up in you truly? What is it in your personal life you're afraid of because of that? And then that is what you can navigate. That is what you can challenge. That is what you can fix and heal and overcome and all that.
But yeah, focus on you. Do you? Don't worry about everything else. And if a reader says that and I hate to say it, because in the metaphysical community, when you talk about like, not even just a little bit outside of the readings, in somebody is going to do energy work or whatever, or somebody that does, if they do ceremonies or rituals or whatever, if they tell you that they will do something to someone else for you, run, because you're about to get blacklisted in karma.
Yeah, fucking fact.
You can't do that. You never should do that. And anybody that would offer that service is an immediate double red flag.
Yep.
So
I completely agree. It's one thing to want to separate your energy from someone. So let's say you want to do something where you want to do like a cord cutting because you're still being overly influenced by their energy and you feel like you just cannot move forward and you can't get them out of your brain. That's one thing. To go and do something kind of like ceremonial for yourself, and to seek someone out who maybe has the knowledge of it that can give you tips and tricks or even like a tutorial. But at no point should they ever be like, I'll just do it for you. For anyone who's seen me live, if I pick up that someone has an attachment, meaning a negative energy is built around them, or they've picked up something super negative from someone else, I always tell them, I can move it, I can't take it away. You got to do this yourself. And I will tell them exactly how. You can use sound, you can use vibration, you can use sage, you can use sunshine. I mean, there's a million fucking ways you can do this, but at no point am I ever just like, hey, go to my page and book that $700 fucking demon removal with me, and I'll happily take that shit off of you. It doesn't work that way. And even if you pay someone to do something like that, odds are they're going to make it worse. It's not going to be better. You've now signed a contract with them, meaning that they kind of have ownership of your energy, and shit just gets real fucking bad. And then having to navigate back out of that is a nightmare. So you have to know that you are the tool. You are the divination in anything that you're doing, and no one else should be doing these for you, especially when it comes to hurting a third party.
When I offer services to do cord cuttings, I am offering to use my energy as a place to hold space for you while you do something difficult.
Yeah.
But before anybody even books with me, before the Venmo payment has been received, I let them know. I will talk them out of it. If you're not ready, this doesn't work. This isn't a fix-all.
Yeah.
Because I could come to your house and get you and move you to a deserted island. Took away any forms of communication, your thoughts, your feelings are still connected. You have to be willing to not text back.
Yep.
You have to be willing to not unblock them on social media. These are your decisions. You have to be ready for it. It gets easier after a cord cutting, but the cord cutting only works if you're ready.
Yeah.
And my job is to hold space and to put a little bit more oomph into it. But you can do a lot of things on your own. Releasing is a choice.
Exactly. It's like, with the way you're describing it, it makes me think of like, Stephanie, I need you to come help me get all their shit out of my house. I can't do it on my own. I'm not ready. I know it needs to happen. And I know that I need that push to go to Goodwill and drop this shit off. And you come over to my house and we pack everything up and you drive me over there and we do it together. That's what it reminds me of. But it should never be Stephanie breaking into your house. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be careful with the fucking people you do. They shouldn't be like Kool-Aid Man busting into your shit and ripping all this shit away because they know you need to do it, but you're not ready. You know?
To me, if you try to force something that you're not ready for, all you're doing is creating an opportunity for that same energy that looks different to move in and take its place.
Yes. New relationship, same shit. New
Yep.
friendship, same shit. New job, same shit. That's all you're doing.
That is why one of the first shadows I see in people is toxic cycles. So yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So, we can segue right into it. Ethical boundaries and readings. Third-party questions and consent issues. So we just basically covered that.
Yep.
See, we're going down and we're hitting these bullet points without me even reading them. Predicting death, illness, and disaster. I'll say that I'll ask how you're feeling, how you're doing. I will say things like, hey, you might have some things coming up. If you have doctor's appointments already scheduled, definitely don't cancel them. Or, hey, you might want to go see a doctor. Or, hey, whatever. But I'm not going to tell you when I think you're going to die. I'll say that things are going to be tense, but I'm not going to tell you how I see like economic disasters or natural disasters going. I just won't say those things because if you put those things out into the universe, I'll sit here all day and be like, was it going to happen the way I saw it happening or did I manifest it? And I can't have that on me.
Right. See, I don't shy away from those. I don't know. I'm a read everything type of person because I want to know what all my gifts and abilities are as well too. But that doesn't mean that if you come to here, so here's the kind of gray area with that for me. I have people come to me all the time and tell me I'm dreaming about death. I'm seeing crows. This is happening. That's happening. The synchronicities are there. I feel like I'm dying. What the fuck is going on with me? Am I actually going to die? I will always answer you. Because more times than not, you're going through an evolution. It's getting like the death card in tarot, man. Something has to end, and it is something that you have known to be true your whole life. It would be kind of like you're getting married and you're changing your last name, and now you have to relearn how to write your signature because this monumental ass change just happened in your life, and now you need a new photo or a passport, or got to change the name on your house, got to change the name on all your bills, got to change everything everywhere because now you are this new version of yourself, and this old version of yourself, while they still exist, they're not steering and in control of anything anymore. They are gone. So a lot of people process that as death. I've even had people come to me and say, I wrote goodbye letters to my family because I really feel like I'm going to die. And me will know you are not physically going to die. I will know you are going through something fucking massive, monumental. And that was why I was so curious, Stephanie, before too. And I asked you about these midlife crisis things. And I was like, wait, is Saturn return the only one? That's why I wanted to know, because I wanted to take your knowledge, combine it with my knowledge and go, holy fucking shit. And these are the ages that these people are coming to me and asking if they're going to fucking die almost every time. And it's because you're going through these like massive life changes. Now, has it ever happened where someone came to me and said that and they were going to die? Yes. How did I navigate that and how did I handle that? It depends on the person. Everything is like who I'm connecting to, how I'm connecting to them. And I've even had people come to me that know that they're dying. They'll come to me and they'll say, can you help me navigate how to deal with who I'm leaving behind? And I will sit in a reading with them and I will help them navigate that. And I'll even help them with like the person's energy. And they'll want to know, I haven't talked to my brother in 10 years. And I don't know if now is the time I should do that. Not for me, but for him, because what if there is something he needs to say and he hates himself for 20 years after I die because he didn't say it? I will sit in a reading with somebody and I will navigate that with them. They already know. Maybe they're terminal. And they're not coming to me because they want to know an exact death date or whatever. They're coming to me because they want to see what's maybe going on with someone else. And if they can, and this is another kind of like gray area with the whole like third party reading and stuff. But it's not about how they can hurt someone. It's literally about what can I do that can heal this so that I don't become an even greater wound in their life because I already know I fucked something up with them. And they want to fix it and they want to make it better. So I've done it all as a reader. I've done I had somebody come to me and they thought they were gonna, die young. And I was like, dude, you're gonna be like in your 80s. I can see you in your rocking chair in your living room. This is what you're wearing. You're pissed off at your grandkid because they're doing some shit and you're tired. Like, I wouldn't have that vision if you were gonna die right now. So and then sometimes I will tell them, you need to be careful the questions you put out there and the questions you ask readers, because even if there is information that comes through with that, you may not be ready for it. And sometimes I've had people ask me and I don't get anything at all. I don't even question it. I don't ask spirit why I don't get it. I don't try to push into it further. I just accept it for what it is. I don't get anything about it right now. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel bad. So
when I mention when people are getting a reading, because we go through all the houses, that the 8th house is sex, death, and other people's money. The only thing they hear on that is death.
Yeah.
You have a house that is difficult to transit. And the same thing that Jordan said, death is not always like you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
It's ending of cycles, it's ending something, it's ending huge phases. I mean, because the thing that comes after death is a rebirth, if it's not actual mortal death, and even depending on what you believe in, a literal soul rebirth. So how I navigate that is, well, let's talk about what you're going through. If you're getting ready to go through a rough 8th house transit or an 8th house perfection year, which I'm in right now, when you're 19, 31, 43. You have to look at your ages when it comes to perfection years. So you will go through an 8th house perfection year where the topics of the 8th house, which is sex, death, other people's money, power, control, taxes, grief, loss, all those things. That will highlight the year for you. But that doesn't mean that everyone around you is going to die. Mm-hmm. Someone might, maybe, or you could have no deaths in your family or friends or anyone around you. It could literally just be that you built up a career for 15 years and suddenly administration moves in, changes everything. It's not what it used to be. You have to start all over. You might have to go back to school to do something else. You might have to restructure your whole life now because you had this one job making this X amount of money, and now that field that you started isn't even available anymore. Your business could go under. You could need to start a whole new business or go back to work. There's a lot more to death than just actual dying. There's a lot more to loss than sometimes the shit that you lose is shit you don't need.
Yeah.
And then sometimes grief is delayed and grief is thrown in your face real quick so that you can move on to the next process. Why am I feeling all of this grief now? Because you need it now so you don't have to deal with it later when you should be making the most of your next thing to come.
Right. Exactly. And it's important too to like know when you are, especially in like the gifted community, highly intuitives, empaths, things like that, people like that. I've also had situations where someone will come to me and say that they know that a woman is going to die and they don't know why. They keep having dreams about it. They're seeing it on every commercial. It's on every radio station. Shit's coming out of the woodworks for them to get it. They're freaking the fuck out. They don't know who they're supposed to give this information to, why they're even supposed to know it. So many things like that. And they'll book a reading with me to find out. Why the fuck is this going on? Why is this what's happening? And more times than not, it's because it's something that will influence your everyday. Meaning, this is another one that last year I did, and a woman came to me asking a question like this, and I told her that it didn't feel like an emotional death, but it was a community death that was going to be huge, and it wound up being exactly that, where it was like somebody that was big in their community that she had worked with before, so she knew a little bit about them, but because of the community connection and what they lost as a community and how that changed things in the community, and the new shitty person that got put in their role and how that changed things, that was why she got so overwhelmed by knowing a woman was going to die. Spirit was trying to let her know, hey, you may be moving because you need to get the fuck out of here, because you've been supposed to move for a long time and you stayed because shit was okay, but now shit's gonna get real fucking bad and you're not supposed to be here. So the whole truth of the message was she wasn't supposed to be there, but she got it in a really scary fucking way. Because for her, it's like, oh my God, is it me? Like, I'm a mom, I have kids, I have people that rely on me. And she was getting all of these messages about this woman that was gonna pass away. Until it happened, or we did the reading and I told her it was community based. The energy was so frantic. She didn't want to sleep. She didn't want to watch TV or listen to music. All the things that she enjoyed, she was cutting out of her life because she was horrified. And she wasn't able to actually live because she's an empath, she's an intuitive, and she was connecting to this. So another big aspect of those messages, especially connected to death and the fear of death and everything, is it even mine? Sure, it can influence you because it's maybe someone around you and the, aftermath of it can influence you, but is it even yours? Why are you feeling it? Being able to separate yourself from that and pull away what it is you're meant to know because you're getting that message. Are you meant to know that you're supposed to make that phone call? Are you supposed to, visit that person? Are you supposed to spend a little bit more time with that person? And you have to be able to trust your intuition when those messages come up too. You don't need me or any other reader to tell you that. Whatever comes up when you feel that way, you need to be able to trust yourself and choose an action. Like Stephanie was saying earlier, action is so important. We live so much of our lives in our heads. And we get so lost and we get so confused and we make so many mistakes and so much shit happens because we're not choosing action. We're waiting. And that's not okay.
Or to me, not taking action is a fear-based response.
Mm-hmm.
To me, there's action and reaction. This is why they're opposite. When you are living in fear, you're the fear responses, fight, flight, freeze, fawn. You're just reacting to the world. You're not actively in it.
Right.
So the next is after the reading, integration and discernment. How to sit with a reading before acting. Now, for me specifically, sometimes time frames when you come to me can be short.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, yes, you could do this in, 8 weeks, but a better time frame is within the next 3 days. If you could pull it off, do it. But that'll be something tangible, something you can handle. Like, I need a new job, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, the best chance you're going to have is within the next 3 days. Put out as many applications as you can.
Mm-hmm.
But if I say the relationship is tense, don't just as soon as your boyfriend comes home, break up with him.
Yeah.
You have to sit with information first. And you also have to judge what resonated with you, what works for you now, and your own time frames. Basically, all we're doing is we're giving you a ton of information that you then have to sit with to apply to your life.
That's why I always say too, I'm not telling you to get off this live and go make this decision. Even when I did the January predictions on my page, I'm not telling you that because you got this in January, you need to do it right now. It's an awareness you need to have. If you don't have the awareness, how are you going to make the choices and decisions when they come up? Because they're going to come up. That's what we're seeing. The shit comes up, whether you want to run and hide from it or not, it's going to come up. And it's almost like we get to see into that and kind of give you like a power boost. Hey, don't forget, this thing's going to happen. It's like knowing you have a doctor's appointment coming up and knowing that you need to write all your symptoms and all your shit down. We're like that ticking reminder. Don't forget, write your stuff down. It's going to be important you advocate for yourself. That's what we're telling you to do in all the readings. It should be about you advocating for you. What's going to be the most beneficial thing for you? Not because of someone else in your life. Not to benefit someone else in your life. Not to do. What do you need as your own individual person? And I've had to do that too, where I'm like, there's so much energy influencing you right now. I really just need to single in and hone in on your own energy and see what you need because you're being influenced too much. And I've had to do that in readings too.
The next one is journaling and reflection practices.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we should work in a topic that we had discussed before with this one. So if you're someone that gets frequent readings, you should be documenting these things. If you're not, like, what is the point of getting frequent readings? If you're not looking at the flow, if you're not looking at the patterns, if you're not looking at how things that were supposed to change didn't versus the things that did, and how you took action on the one and not the other, if you're not dialoguing with these readings with your reader, what's the point? And then how often should you get readings?
Yep.
For me personally, as an astrologer, I throw out way more information than a lot of astrologers do. Once a month, I can get you through a whole month easy.
Yep.
I mean, don't get me wrong, everything changes day to day, but major astrology, major things taking place with some nuance and some extra things that I always sprinkle in there. For me, once a month. I think that if you're getting astrology readings more than once a month, they're piecing out their information to you.
Exactly. It's like breadcrumbing just to get you to come back to like benefit off of you spending more money on them. They look at you as a dollar sign, not being a help and genuinely caring about the information that they give you.
Now, if you want to feel it out to where you feel like you come and you book with me just because you feel like you need to, fine. But if you want to be on a consistent basis, I would say once a month, because the energies in the universe can change drastically month to month. But if you do want to be one of those people like, oh, I feel like I need her. I feel like I need her. I feel like I need to hear from her. That's fine too. Even though I noticed that when I have clients that do that, they are on a astrological cycle that they didn't even know about. So, but yeah, any more than once a month and you're getting breadcrumbs.
Exactly. It's different if you're like, say you've never had a reading before, this is a whole new world for you, and this is the very first time someone's giving you information, and you come and you book a reading with me, and then I'm talking about your health, I'm talking about your career, I'm talking about you getting married, I'm talking about babies you're going to have, I'm talking about this house that's going to happen. Guess what? That's not going to happen in a month. None of that shit's going to happen in a month. All that shit's probably going to happen over the next year and a half. So I even tell, it depends. Main line, main goal, main rule, once a month. Totally agree. I've had to even change that on my own website because I will have someone book with me as many times as they possibly can to where I feel like it's a detriment to them financially. And what can I possibly tell you that many times in a month? I can't. And then it becomes where I feel worn out before I even get into the reading because what else can I possibly help you with? I've already given you everything that I am, everything I know at that point in time. Get an astrology reading, go book a tarot reading, go to somebody that reads crystal balls or bones or some other shit that's not me, because I have maxed out all the information that I can give you that's just organically coming to me, and anything beyond that, it just kind of feels like I have to try way too hard and use way too much of my own energy, and it doesn't feel like a positive connection anymore, and I don't want to do it. And if I don't want to do it, then it also feels like it muddles the relationship that I have with you and what it is that I can continue helping you with moving forward. Now that takes me back into someone who's never had a reading before. This is the very first thing. They come to me, they get 5 topics in 30 minutes, and it's so much fucking information. They're overwhelmed. Maybe they take a week or two, they replay their video a few times, and then they have questions. That is why I don't have a cap on my live readings. It's also why I go live frequently. That way, if somebody does and they are like, you know, they want to book one of my open nights where I'm channeling anything, and they're like, hey, I had a reading with you back in October of last year. You said these things. All of it came true. I just want to know that even though those things have happened, I'm on the right path. Can you look into my energy again? Sure, why the hell not, you know? But it's like the people who want to know the same shit all the time and they want to hear it 7,000 different ways in the same month. I can't do that anymore. I'm not going to keep, it's almost like me devaluing myself because I've already naturally and organically and beautifully connected to that energy for you and gave it everything I had. So that to then go do it again and again and again and again. It's like once you did it and once it was, you've perfected it that first time, continuing to do it after that, it just feels like I take a nick every single time I do this. And then it gets to a point where I get in the reading and my energy's down here, and I'm just like, why are we here? Why are we doing this again? What could I possibly know more of that I didn't know already? And that's when it's not fun anymore. And that is when it doesn't feel positive anymore. And that's when I'm like, yeah, you're cut off.
Yeah.
Don't book with me again. You're on a 6-month wait list or whatever it is.
The first time reading thing did bring up something. If you've never had an astrology reading, I usually suggest you book the wheel. An overview, right? Like Cliff's Notes of every house in your chart, and you've got 12 of them. It's a ton of information. If you get one and you in that reading decide, oh my God, I can get a lot out of astrology. And in that reading, we touch on your mental health. And I have a mental health reading. You later want to book that to go deeper. Fine. But if you're like trying to book constantly, or, you know, things beyond like the special, like I have my big guys, and then I have my specialties. If you're wanting to jump on a guided shadow work series, boom, I got it. If you want to talk about the elements in your chart and what you lack and what you need to work on and how that manifests for you, book it. But if you're just base astrology, tell me about my relationships, tell me about my relationships, tell me about my career, tell me about my career, that's a month-to-month thing.
Yeah, exactly. If I've already read that topic and we've already discussed it, it's staying in that month. I even know readers who will only read you once a year. And I have people who come to me to get readings once a year because maybe I'll do their reading in February and then they come back the next year in March. And then they're like, yeah, you told me all this stuff was going to happen. This happened in April. This didn't happen until October. Still waiting on this, even though all the dominoes are in play for this to happen, or they give me all the updates from the year prior. But they're willing to just go live their life and see what the fuck happens, even with all the stuff that was told to them in that reading. And they strictly stick to, I only go to her once a year. I want to see what the updates are. I want to see what the big energy is. And those are usually people who come and book an hour session with me. Because when I tell y'all, that is so much information to give. Y'all thought y'all got a lot in 30 minutes and you booked that hour? Woo! I'm almost exhausted after those readings.
Yeah.
Because I have looked into almost everything I could possibly look into for your life. And that allows so much time too that you could ask, like, say you're married and you've been noticing this weird cough in your spouse and something comes up heart related and you're like, you know, you said something with the heart congestion and stuff, and I'm curious if it is my spouse. I don't really get a connection to that, but here's the symptoms with them. And you want me to validate that. Take them to the cardiologist. I'm always going to tell you that. I'm not a doctor. Don't claim to be. Never have, never will.
Yep.
But I can at least go, I emotionally don't get a connection to that. If I don't feel like it's that person, or if I'm like, yeah, definitely, absolutely, I feel overwhelmed now that you've brought that up and you've kind of pinpointed where the energy could go, I do get a connection to that. It's very important that you take that person. And then I've had people come back after a reading like that a year later and go, holy shit, you saved my spouse's life. We didn't even know to look into that for them. There sometimes would have never made us believe we should have taken them to cardiology, but we pushed for it and we found out that they have this issue, and you know, we went, they had the procedure. You said the procedure was going to be fine. They were going to come home. Everything was going to get better. And that's exactly what happened. But, you know, like, still in that energy, letting all that stuff play out before you come back and ask me again. Like, if it hasn't happened yet, let it happen. And then if you want to see what else is going on and what the next thing is that's coming up, let's do it. I'm game. That's fun, you know?
It's frustrating when they don't even let it play out.
Mm-hmm.
So like honestly, this wasn't even like a real reading. I was in an event. It was getting pretty slow. I decided to trade with another reader, and I saw some health related stuff for her. And I won't tell all her business, but I saw in her chart some things that had been an issue before. And I said, hey, you got any doctor's appointments coming up? She's like, yeah, but I'm probably going to cancel. I'm like, don't. That thing you used to have is probably back.
Yeah.
And she went to the doctor and it was back. However, had she come back to me and says, How do you still feel about that stuff coming back? That's dumb.
Yes, we can't. What do you want me to do?
It's,
That's what I want
yeah.
to ask every time. I'm not there. I'm not there to help you. I'm not living life with you. What can I possibly do that would be beneficial to you at that? And then it feels like wrong of me to be accepting money for a service when I've already given you the information. It makes me feel bad. Like you could have taken this money and done something for yourself or something else with it or saved it or whatever, and you spent it on me and I don't feel like I can help you. It makes me feel bad. You know, that's not fun for me as a reader either. And I'm sure for other readers, they feel the same way. And if they don't, like, shame on them.
Honestly.
Good.
But yeah, don't, if reach the climax of what we talked about the first time before we add more information for the second time.
Yeah.
And especially like with topics like health. If I tell you something might be wrong, get it checked out. Don't ignore it and then come back to me like, do you still see that? Yes.
Right.
I was talking about something that is oncoming, could potentially be serious. Like, go to the doctor.
And that too, like
before your next reading.
Right. For me as a reader, that's why I don't try to like backpedal or like read between the lines or make it hard for the client to understand what the fuck I'm talking about. I don't do it in a roundabout way. I do it and this is exactly what I see. This is exactly how I feel. I give you the information as if you're me and you're channeling it for yourself. I don't want to leave anything unsaid, like we were talking about in the beginning. And I don't want to leave it where it's hard for the client to interpret.
Yeah.
That's not fair. It's not fair to the client. I'm already playing fucking charades. And if I don't understand something, y'all have seen me a million times go, then this is going on and this is connected to this and this is and then I have my aha moment and I'm able to piece it all together. But I'm telling you what I'm getting while I'm trying to figure it out. So I'm not projecting any bullshit from myself. I'm literally like, I don't fucking know. Let's figure it out together. And sometimes I'll ask, this is another thing I want to talk about. Sometimes I will ask people, I'll be like, where's my astrologer at? I got new astrology girlies in the house. What the fuck is going on with the planets? Why is everyone feeling this way? Or I'll be like, where's my nurses? Can anyone with a medical background help me understand what I'm seeing? Or where's my mechanics at? Because I'm seeing this shit in a car and I don't know nothing dick about cars. Somebody help me out. Phone a friend. If I ask for that, that's one thing. It's another thing to come into a live or to go onto someone else's page and just start overreading them in the comments. That's not fair to the person that's doing the reading. I'm going to leave it there. For now.
For now.
I would never do it to someone else. And not only does the reader see it, but everyone else sees it too. And they bring it to the reader's attention.
Here's the thing about being in somebody's live. So let's go specifically live. Don't make it weird. If what you're about to say, if you were live, would make it weird for you, don't make it weird.
Right.
It takes a perfectly enjoyable space and shits all over it.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't make it weird. So the next one, when to stop getting readings.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a real good one.
Signs of spiritual dependency. We already touched on this a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
If you feel like you cannot make a move in your own life without consulting someone first, you dependent.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that sometimes talking to me can be like a drug, and my friends are just out here like, if I don't talk to you right now, I'm a freak out. I'm like I need a hit of Stephanie. But honestly, for real, if you feel like you can't make a move in your own life without consulting a reader, that's an issue. You can become addicted to anything. Exactly. Literally anything. Yeah. That includes getting readings. That includes buying crystals that are gonna fix your fucking life.
Yeah.
You can get addicted, just like holding up a smoky torch. You better fix my whole fucking life.
Yep.
If you can't make decisions, if you can't self-soothe, if you can't move forward, if you can't let go, these are codependency issues if you rely on someone else to do those for you.
Yeah. Because as a reader, if you're a good reader, you're going to get in that and be like, how can I even help? That's all we want to do. How can I even help? And if I feel like I'm a hindrance and not a help in this situation, I'm going to shut down.
I have shut down in a reading before, especially when and this next one, using readings to avoid inner work. If I see in my reading that you're going to take this hour of information I'm going to give to you and not do a fucking thing with it, I'm going to give you the information, but I'm removing myself energetically from this reading.
Yeah. And that's hard too, because like that's so much of our time. That is so much of our energy that goes into it. And to just be in there and know that whoever we're helping doesn't care. It's like, why did you book this? If we know that you're not going to do anything with the information at all, why are we here?
At this point, it's an instructional manual and not a conversation.
Yeah.
I'm going to deadpan drop the information on you. This is not going to feel like the journey it should be. It's like, why would you pay someone with your life and then not do anything? Mm-hmm. Not micro things, because I am like, this is a conversation, and we'll start small, micro adjustments, and your emotions or how you behave or how you think, your thought processes. We'll start small. I'm not telling you that you need to do this one big thing right now or it's over. We start small. These are micro adjustments that you can make in your life. But if you're coming asking for what can I do for myself and then you don't do anything for yourself, that's bruh. Mm-hmm. And then you do it again. And then again, it's soul crushing because you want to help this person. You want to be a part of their journey. You're giving maximum effort and they're not in their own lives. It's frustrating. It makes me a defeatist. I'm like, well, am I doing a fucking thing for these people?
Yeah. And then it's hard for us too, because we want to help so bad and we can see both sides of it, to like decide the moment that we pull the plug. And it never feels good. It's never fun. We're not over here like, yeah, fuck that bitch, I got rid of her. Ah. It's never that. It's like, we know the journey has come to an end for whatever reason, and that whoever it is needs to be in their own energy, because nothing has been accomplished, or very little has been accomplished in those interactions. And now they just need to figure it out on their own.
If you want to look at it like if energy told a story, this is how I get when I have clients that consistently won't do anything for themselves. Mm-hmm. And I know I need to let go of that client. It's like driving around with a wounded dog. And this dog just won't go anywhere. So now I have to drive around until I find a good enough spot and a safe enough spot to just drop it off. I want to help this injured thing. I want to help heal those wounds. I'm looking for where they're going to get out of the car, or if they're not going to fight the vet when I get there, but consistently they won't get out of the car. They won't go into the vet. So now I'm just driving around with this wounded thing that I want to do something good for, but it won't help itself. So now I just have to drop it off in the safest place I can find.
Exactly.
It sucks for you and us.
Notice how nothing she said was malicious right there. It's not like she's not going having a party. She's not celebrating the fact that this is ended. It's just literally like, I know that I am no longer a fit, and I know that what I'm doing is no longer that helpful, positive connection that it initially was. And I know that I need to be removed from this equation so that person or dog in this situation will seek fucking help. And we'll get the right help and we'll meet the right people, because now I'm a hindrance because I've been driving it around for too long.
Yeah.
I hate that whole connection to like weaponizing somebody because they have grown beyond the connection where they can help you. That pisses me off to no avail.
Yeah. But unfortunately, it does happen.
All the time. All the time.
Emotional burnout or confusion. Listen, if you're in a chaotic space where you just, even if I gave you a list of ways, absolute ways, fix your life in 12 steps or less, and you couldn't even open that manual because things are too chaotic for you, give it a minute.
Yeah.
Take a break.
Mm-hmm.
Reconnect with you. Let some things fall away.
Because that goes into the whole like, you just want to be busy to not have to deal with what the fuck is going on, and you're using me as another tool to just keep you busy. And I know it when you're doing it.
Yeah.
Think about that. If I know about what the fuck's going on with Tom, Dick, and Harry and your car and your health and all this other shit, I know why you're here. I know.
I can look at your moon sign and be like, you are not dealing with anything. I am another distraction.
Yes. And like, if you've already paid for the service, sure, and being a distraction in there in that service, but the continuation of coming back and repeating the pattern and using that over and over again, that whole distraction thing, and like topics that aren't even truly affecting you right now, and not wanting to talk about topics that are actually affecting you right now. And it's a whole pattern, it's a whole cycle, and it is not a positive one.
No. The next one, when intuition feels overridden. So you
paused and then it like sped you up really fast.
You can manipulate yourself. Self-manipulation is a thing. If you know your gut is telling you one thing and you absolutely do not want to deal with that situation or go in that direction, you can manipulate yourself into a misguided form of intuition. If you consistently override your intuition, you are not going to do well in readings.
Yep. Will you read the topic of that one to me again?
When intuition feels overridden.
Okay.
Also, if you are in the middle of some form of narcissistic relationship where you are actively being manipulated to the point where you can't trust your own intuition anymore either, you might need to take a break and you might need to deal with some external forces before you get a reading, because if you're locked in, you're not going to be receptive to anything that we have to say.
Exactly. And it goes for the reader too. So like when you initially read that, the first thing that popped in my head is when someone comes into a reading with me and they just blab their whole life story to me in the first 10, 15, 20 minutes. That ruins the whole fucking reading, because the whole point is I know nothing about you. I want to know nothing about you, and I'm just going to channel it all and give you all this information. And if you have a question or two at the end, I'm happy to help you and I'm happy to answer those and look into it if it didn't naturally get answered, because 9 times out of 10, I'm naturally going to answer those things because it's the energy you're in and why you booked the reading. So that whole like intuition thing and the intuition feeling tainted, that is one of my biggest pet peeves in any sort of reading. I hate it when someone comes into a live and they go, so-and-so passed away. Do they have any messages for me? They passed away at this time, this date. This is how they passed away. I don't want to read it at all. I don't even want to touch it. I will more times than not ignore the fact that you've come into a room and said like something like that to me, because it looks fake. If I'm gonna, you should never do that to anybody anyway, because then you're giving them all the fucking information about you out the gate and they're just reiterating it to you in their own dialogue, and then you walk away from it feeling good about it, but it was all not real. So if somebody brings something up like that to me in the beginning of a reading, I sometimes will purposely not read it. I will block it because you gave me too much information and now I don't trust what I'm getting because you gave me too much information. It'd be different in, go ahead.
If you need advice on how, especially with Jordan, to give her just enough, think about like 3 topics. Is it something you're looking, like, how does this energy make you feel? Is it something you're looking forward to? Is it something you're worried about or whatever? Does it involve someone other than you, and in what aspect? Is it a career? Is it health? Is it relationships or whatever? Give her very vague, like a section of 3. Give her a direction to go in. Don't map the whole route.
Yes.
So when you're thinking of those questions to post in the live, go that direction. Like, hey, Jordan, I'm really worried about a recent decision I've made on my career path. Do you get anything about that? And that's it.
See, I don't even like that, because then I already feel like you feel some type of way. Just put career.
Yeah, career.
Because then I already know it's something negative. It's something you feel negatively about. Why do you feel that way? I already feel like you are already navigating me to some answer. Whereas I just want to know the topic. The topic is so organic to me, because if you do feel nasty about it and you tell me career, I'm probably going to feel that. Oh, yeah, girl, you got some shit coming up. You got some shit going on, or guy, or whoever it is. And here's why. And then in the comments just start blowing up. Oh my God. Yes. That's exactly what's going on. That's exactly how I feel, because you gave me the opportunity to just connect to the truth of it, to connect what's going on. And you didn't give me all this background information that I don't want.
Less is more.
Yes.
Well, less is more. Like, less is more for me too. But also we're having a conversation. If I ask you a question, answer it, please.
Oh, yeah, for sure. See, that's another thing that I want to talk about too, because of the whole, like, not because we need validation as readers, but because it helps us know that what we're saying to you makes sense, and we can push further into that message. Because we'll come up with 7 different things maybe to talk to you about, and maybe 2 of them are really important to you. So you start validating those 2 things. You got the information about the other 5. That's fine. But you want to know more about these other things. So you say, like, say, you know, it comes up that there is something going on with your car, and that was one of the 7 things that comes up, and you're like, hey, can you tell me more about the car thing? That was interesting. That's all you got to say.
Yeah.
I don't need to know you got a 2025, you know, Ford F-150 and the dash is all fucked up and this, that, or the third. That's too much information for me. Just tell me more about that car thing. That was crazy.
If, like, for me, because, you know, each house in your chart represents a couple of things. And I bring up the topic of relationship issues. And I say, would you think that that would be more romantic or partnership? Because romance is broad, or partnership is broad. Relationships are broad. You have relationships with your friends. You have relationships with your coworkers. You have romantic relationships. You have relationships with business people, right? So if I ask you if it's more romantic or more business, elaborate.
Yeah, exactly. Because
are the hardest things that I'm talking about right now romantic? Is your romantic relationship falling apart? Or do your coworkers or your boss suck?
Yeah, exactly.
Send me down the right path, because we're getting ready to tell a story. And I don't want to get halfway through that story, only realize you didn't give me enough information. And we're now like chapters deep, and I needed to be redirected.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that 100%. Yes. So if you do come in, and even for me, and you say relationship, I won't always pull up love. Love is not all that relationships are. Relationships are connections you have with other people. So if you ask me for a relationship reading and I don't get anything romantic and you want romance, you can say, I was more so curious about the romantic aspect of my life. And because I'm talking to you about your mama, some issue and some trauma and something you have to heal so you can even be in a positive romantic relationship. Or I'm talking about your dad, or you and your cousin fell out, or whatever the hell it is. And you want to know a different part of that, let me know.
And also too, in relationships is like the priority. Okay, so this is very much also intuitive. Yes, I'm looking at a screen that basically tells me everything I need to know about you, but it's also intuitive. And if you come and you're like, are me and my boyfriend going to get married and be together forever? And I see the crazy shit going on in your relationships, it may be that you never fix that relationship with your mom.
Yeah.
It may be that you never fix that relationship with your dad. It may be that the relationship with your mom or dad needs to end. It may be that relationship caused you to be in the relationship you're in now, which is why you can't figure out whether or not you guys are going to be together forever, because you have abandonment issues.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not always black or white. Sometimes it's underlying, and sometimes we're picking up on things relationship wise that are not your priority, but is of great importance and concern.
That's what I was going to say too. So you bring up relationship to us and we connect to a relationship you weren't even thinking about. We're not telling you to do something about it right now either. It's an awareness you need to have. It's a marker like the Burger King in the navigation instructions going down the road. You can't get to the damn church if you can't pass the Burger King. Why are you focused on the church and the marriage if Burger King's blocking your way? And Burger King could be your parents. Burger King could be a friend who passed away and you haven't healed. Burger King could be fucking anything, but you got to be able to pass this monument to get to that life experience. And that's what we're telling you when Burger King comes up, but you wanted to know about church.
And now I want Burger King, and I don't even really like
I want fries and an Impossible Whopper so bad.
Yeah, now this is real. I need you to use something, the Walmart or something, because now I want Burger King. That was not on my bingo card for today. Next topic, reclaiming trust in yourself.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to back off from readings because you need to learn to trust that you can make decisions for yourself.
Exactly. And the reader should always respect that. A reader should not be trying to tell you that, you know, you need to be getting readings from them, or, you know, they're the best avenue for you to get insight on your life, or navigating you to another reader or some shit. Like, no, if you want to break from readings, take a whole ass break from readings, and that should always be respected. Always.
And honestly, more than likely, we have been picking up that that's probably something that you need to do anyway. So if I pick that up in a client, I'll be like, what do you think? How do you feel about it? This isn't about me. This is about you. You need to sit with you. This is a you decision. I can give you X amount of information.
Mm-hmm.
But the only way anything ever gets done is if you feel right about it. My job is to set you up to feel right about how you navigate things, how you move, right? And right now you need to move toward yourself. You need to check in. How are you going to deal with this?
Yeah.
And if you can't trust yourself, the only thing that you can do about that is to sit with yourself until you do again.
Mm-hmm.
We're almost done, I promise.
Oh, I'm not rushing. I'm having fun with this. I was looking forward to this one.
Actually, should we take a mini break?
We can.
Okay. I just have to go to the bathroom.
Okay.
So I'm going to leave you with a topic and you go off, Queen.
Okay.
Empowerment versus spiritual bypassing. Using your readings as tools, not crutches. And you take that and you talk, and I'm going to go to the bathroom and come right back.
Tools, not crutches. Well, this goes into like all the stuff we were talking about too, where you go and you get a reading and you feel understood, you feel seen, you feel empowered. It kind of feels like a therapy session you just went through. And now you feel like you have enough positive energy to go influence and do something in your life. You have been empowered, right? And now you're like, hell yeah, right path, right vision, maybe even the right timeline. I'm going to start this process. I'm going to hold the line. I'm going to hold the faith. And I'm really glad that they saw that and they were able to give me some insight on that. Now I have direction. Now I know what I'm going to do with it. And then you go and you do something with it. It doesn't have to be that day, that week, that month, but you now have this empowering knowledge to do something that you were already feeling organically connected to in your own life because you brought it to the reading and the reader was able to help you with it. versus like what Stephanie and I were talking about a little bit earlier, where someone's coming to us and they want to know something about, something they could do for their job even, but that's just a cover up because they're struggling with trauma, or they're struggling with grief, or they're struggling with processing things, or they have a really traumatic connection with someone still that's lingering in their life, and they want to focus their energy somewhere else because this is so fucking painful and this is so hard. So they're using these readings as like a deflection from the thing they actually need to be focusing on, and then they're spiritually bypassing what it is they should be doing and trying to find energy to do something else, but the energy isn't even in alignment. So there's even no ability to feel empowered, to feel ready. You get insight on something else in your life, and that's just awesome. That's cool. You got to break in your mind from this really bad negative thing, but then there's no energy behind it to do anything with it or to do anything about it. And then you're just sitting there with this information. You're not going to do anything with it. That's also hard for the reader, because maybe that's something that you want us to read again, but we already read it, but you weren't in the right energy to receive it at the time, but we've already done it. So it's like, record the session so you can go back and read them again. Take your notes so you can go back and, read them again or watch them again or whatever. So you have that information at your fingertips because it's something we already came together and had a collaboration on. It's not something we need to talk about over and over and over and over again. To me, that's the connection in empowering a client and allowing a client to bypass the things that they need to be doing because they want you to talk about this one thing because this is the one thing in their life maybe they feel like they can control.
I'm back.
Welcome back. I don't know if you heard me or not, but I did go off.
I did. And so the thing is that I needed to go to the bathroom before I go off. Okay. So I'm looking at your chart and I'm seeing every single placement, every single zodiac sign has good and bad manifestations, meaning that you could be using the best of the best, or you could be using the worst of the worst. If I tell you something about yourself and then you go out there and you weaponize that information as an excuse to exist in bad behavior, that's shitty.
That's real shitty.
That's using the information I gave you in our reading as a crutch. If you're a Leo and I tell you that, you like to be the one that shines in a relationship, then don't backseat your girlfriend because I'm just a Leo, babe. That's what I do. I need to be the one to shine. Other people still need to be priority for you. You're supposed to be an advocate for people that don't have a voice of their own. That's what being a true benevolent leadership quality of a Leo is.
Yeah.
Don't use what I tell you about yourself and what could be possible negative aspects of yourself as an excuse for your bad behavior. I will energetically slap the shit out of you when you do that. If I tell you that, oh, you have your Venus is in Aquarius, relationships very differently than others, that you would be well suited for, different types of relationships, but you're in a monogamous relationship. Don't use that information of like the interesting and alien quality of Aquarius and Venus coming together to be like, so she said that this, that, and the other, and I don't view relationships the way other people would do. And I know we're in a monogamous relationship and you're monogamous, but I think that we need to open this relationship. I think polyamory is the way to go for me, just so you can have the flavor of the month or whatever that you've been flirting with at work. No. You can have a difficult time navigating the more stressful and the more negative qualities of some of your zodiac sign placements. It is not an excuse. I have a ton of negative zodiac placements. They're not an excuse. Now, I use the positive ones an excuse. Like, oh my God, girl, you're crazy. And I'm like, I'm a Sagittarius. Why you talk so much? I'm a Sagittarius. So you can use the positive ones if you want to and be like, somebody else might be like, me too. And you're vibing together. But you cannot use the information that I give you as an excuse for your bad behavior. Like I said, I will energetically slap the shit out of you.
I feel the same way about like psychic and mediumship readings. Like, don't take what I said and be like, this is how it has to be because this is what Jordan said. Again, you're driving by a Walmart, getting to the church. It's not like you're gonna, go take all your shit and move into Walmart and live in Walmart for the rest of your life. Or buy the Walmart and be the CEO or the owner or whatever of Walmart. Walmart is just a marker on your journey. It is not the end all be all, and it is not. I don't know another way to say that.
It's never an excuse.
Yes.
And just because, even if Jordan says, girl, you need to go out and make it happen for you, that doesn't mean you need to be a bitch about it.
Not at all.
If
you
you're
just
like,
have boundaries like that.
If you want that promotion, go after it, girl. This is about your action. This is about grounding my insight into the spiritual world, into real world action for you. Go get that job. That doesn't mean that you push your coworker down a flight of stairs so she can't show up for her interview.
Yeah, fact.
You still have to be moral and take the high ground and do all of the good things that people do who are working on themselves as you navigate this world. And I find that people that do not want to do the good work for themselves and elevate themselves will find any excuse to get away with their bad behavior, including ours.
Yeah, another counter to that too is Jordan tells you that you're going to get this promotion and then you don't do jack fuck to get the promotion. And then you're like, Jordan, what the fuck? You said I was going to get this promotion. Yeah, you can also go to Walmart, but you can't fucking get there if you don't drive your fucking car there. You can't just sit in your house and go and wiggle your nose and be in Walmart. The same way you can't just go to work every day and get a promotion if you don't apply for it, if you don't try, if you don't go to the interviews, if you don't advocate for yourself. Like, there's always steps that have to be taken to get you to a point. Just because I can see the point that you get to doesn't mean that it's going to be the Kool-Aid man and bust through your fucking living room and drop in your lap. You have to do... These outcomes will always require action every single time.
And accountability. If I tell you that you have a window of opportunity to do some amazing things as a public speaker, but you were feeling so good in that moment that you decided, I got this in the bag anyway. Stephanie told me I did. And then consistently every day you were speaking, you decided to stop and get breakfast in Starbucks, and you were late to every single appointment that you had to do speaking that day. You just took a really great window of opportunity and shit on it because you thought you had it made. Everything is still in your hands.
Right.
You take that action, you are still held accountable for how that works out.
Exactly.
Okay. Let's see. What else do we have left? Oh, the last one, empowerment and spiritual bypassing. How readings can support shadow work.
I'm going to mute for a second.
So if Jordan or I or any other reader points out something, we'll call it shadowy since we're talking about shadow work, a spot that needs to be integrated into the personality, maladaptive thought processes that need to be reworked. This is an opportunity to not dwell on it or just let it go or be like, well, in this reading, I'm shitty. No, this is an opportunity to have guidance in the shadow work of taking the things that we see that need to be reworked or rethought or reconstructed and have somebody help you rebuild those things. We don't point out shadows as to be like, oh, gross, that's weird about you. No, this is an opportunity to have somebody help you work through some situations and give you some insights on some topics that may be difficult to navigate by yourself.
Exactly. Especially when it comes to like third party situations and like so sorry, y'all. I'm getting over it. It's still on my ass though. But it's important to know why you do what you do, why you react to it, why you still want to be connected to it, why you don't have closure, why you still feel pain. It's not about what the other person's doing. People are always going to do what they're going to do no matter what you're doing. It's about you in all of those scenarios and us helping you navigate that. But that also means that sometimes we'll tell you things you don't want to hear. And that'll make you feel like we're prejudiced, or we have a preconceived notion about you, or we felt this way about you all along and never said anything. That's not true. That's a projection. That's the ego. That's fear-based. And that's, I just want to get away from this as fast as possible because of everyone in my life. I never expected you to bring this to my attention. Everyone else does. You never did. And now you are. Okay, well, because it needs to be dealt with. It's not like all of a sudden my perspective changes and I see everyone else's point of view and I see what's going on. I've known all along. I wasn't called to act on it yet. Now I am. And that, go ahead.
It's a judgment-free situation.
Exactly.
It's judgment-free. We're taking some things that we have noticed and discussing them with you as if it's still you. We just saw it from a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
The greatest thing you can get from readings is self-awareness. We're pointing something out that is now an opportunity for you to deal with.
Yeah, that's why I said too. I always say this. If I get a reading by somebody and they can't say at least one thing that triggers me, I'll never get a reading by them again. Triggers are important. Why do I feel this way? Maybe this is the person that can help me navigate it. Maybe they're going to give me the advice or the perspective or whatever that I'm not seeing myself that is going to allow me to heal, grow, and change because I need to as my own person.
And that's how you know when shadow is in charge too. It is always about you. That person that you don't like at work for no reason, your reaction to them says more about you than it does them. That's how we know our shadows are in charge. We want our shadows to work with us, not against us. This is that trigger, that why does this person who has seemingly done nothing wrong to me trigger me? Well, maybe it's because they operate in society very easy breezy and social interaction feels more easy for them than it is for you, and you're like, ooh, she's just always got to talk, she's always got to be in the spotlight. Does she claim the spotlight, or are you so nervous about how people are going to take you that you hold yourself back from the spotlight?
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah, your reaction to that situation says more about you than them. Now, there are those people that always have to be in the spotlight. But trust me, other people will come up and say that. We're talking about someone that has never fought for the spotlight for you. Just someone who's out here unencumbered, enjoying themselves, and for whatever reason, you are triggered by their behavior. That's a you thing, not a them thing.
Exactly. Every time.
And getting a reading can help highlight those areas, and we can give you advice on how to deal with those things too.
But don't be surprised when you find out why. Because it's a you thing, not a them thing most times.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like to hear that, but generally it's the thing that they need to hear the most.
Yep. And as readers, we need to have enough faith in ourselves and know that we're doing the right thing by bringing light to that situation and not tiptoeing the way that so many other people are in their lives, because that also can create a very negative connection with a client. If you are another person who's just telling them what they want to hear, even though they need something else, and maybe even psychically or spiritually, you're feeling like they're not ready for that information, you hold on to it a little while and then tell them, and then it feels like a catastrophization of, if that's even a word, the whole relationship because of what I said, where you weren't like this and now you are. We have to hold space for all that stuff. People change, readers change, clients change, people grow, people change. You outgrow relationships, you'll create new relationships. There's no right or wrong way. And the judgment and the manipulation and the preconceived notions, that's where the negativity is. Hi, hippie love.
Yeah, it's a difficult place to navigate it, but we're there to help you do it, not to judge you. It's a safe space. I call it a safe space to be ugly.
Yeah. It's like when I tell people you're not yourself. I'm reading multiple energies. I'm not reading your own energy. That's my way of telling you your hand's in too many cookie jars. You're doing too much shit for too many other people, and your energy is not your own without me just coming out and saying it.
And we're actually, this is a great segue for the next week's topic. You have to do the hard thing eventually, or not reach your true potential. You have to integrate your shadows or let them lead you. What they're going to lead you to is for you to, like we were talking about earlier, constantly reacting to this world, not living in it. You will always feel off balance if you do that. You have to do the hard things. Shadow work is a hard thing. Some people lean into it, chase after it, they get after it, they're go-getters, they're doing their thing. Other people are hesitant, they're scared, they don't know what to do. This is where having somebody to guide you comes in handy. Do the dark, do the gross.
Yes, even like another thing from a reader's perspective is, as a reader, when you're doing readings and you have all these people coming to you because of health, okay, what's going on with my own health as a reader? Because why the fuck is this shit all up in my Kool-Aid right now? Why is every single person that I'm reading got this going on? That's not a fucking coinky dink, and I've been doing this long enough to know that those are never coinky dinks. It's always a message for the self. So we have to be aware enough too to be able to receive what we're putting out. The last live I did a reading for someone, and I heard in my own voice, it sent chills down my spine. Make sure you listen to that. And I knew what I was saying out of my mouth were words my ears needed to hear from me as well. And so I wrote it down and I kept it. And I'm going to see what comes of it. But we have to be willing to feel it all. The good, the bad, the nothing, the everything all at once, the grieving, the pain, the sorrow, all of it. And if we don't, then we're just going to be these fake ass love and light motherfuckers who project nothing but false positivity because they won't do exactly that. They won't receive what they're putting out. Oh, I'm so good for everyone else. I can't be held accountable for shit though, because I'm perfect. Love and light. No, fuck that. If you can't feel how you would make someone else feel, don't be doing this shit. Because then you can't be held accountable. I love when readings like that happen. I love when that information gets brought into my own world. Because I'm like, yes, oh my God. Through doing this, I finally understand that thing. I can finally change that thing. I finally recognize the pattern. Oh, this makes so much. And I get so excited about it. Even if it's like the reading I did the other day where I have to sit with it for a while until it finally makes sense to me.
For me, I'm a little bit different. I'll go through some shit and I'll be like, man, that was crazy. And then I sit with it and I process it. And then I've integrated it and I've worked with my shadow and I'm like, fabulous. That was just something I needed to do. But then I'll get locked into a series of repeat clients that are currently going through what I have just overcome. And now I am equipped to guide them or to put them on the path of guiding themselves through this situation because I've just experienced it.
Same.
So what if you were going to think about like ignoring your shadows and ignoring your self-work? Think about what would it be like if you went through a situation and you completely ignored it, and then someone you love, someone you care about, your kid, your sister, your brother, whatever, came to you with that same shit, and you had that opportunity to overcome these issues and work on them, and now you have no advice to give this person because you didn't do the work when you had the chance to do it. And it seems a little underhanded and manipulative, but if you can't do it for yourself, do it for somebody else. At least that'll start you on the path. And then you'll realize why you needed to do it for yourself. But everything is a balance, light and dark. Sometimes we work in the light, sometimes we work in the dark. Both are always present.
Exactly.
If you ignore one, you're going to lead a very unhinged, one-sided existence where you have to basically downplay everybody else in your life to protect your light.
Mm-hmm.
Because most everything about our shadows, how they react with us, involves other people.
Yeah. Totally agree. Okay, Hippie Love had a question. Let me put it up here. Does time get in the way of your readings since there is no time on the other side? Like when we are told in 3 to 4 months something will happen, but it doesn't. We did go over this a little bit.
What with time?
Yeah.
So it's an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Now, sometimes I don't, all right, if I'm doing a reading, it would be, listen, there ain't a dollar amount that I think that anybody could pay outside of an A-lister to be able to go through every single potential within even just a year for a client and make it affordable. That's, oh my God, I don't even think I could do that reading in one day. So I'm taking a finite window of time, let's say 3 to 4 months, and I'm giving you those opportunities. If an opportunity that I'm not even looking at is 6 to 8 months away, but it's a better opportunity because the astrology is stronger and you're stronger at the time, I'm focusing on that 3 to 4 months. It is an opportunity. There may be a better one out there, but I'm focusing on what is tangible for some people. Most people don't want to hear about like 6 to 8 month me.
Yeah.
They're like, what can I do now? Especially when they're struggling to get a job. And I'm not going to look at the astrology. I'm going to look at every opportunity as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm.
This window's bad. This window's the best. And then maybe in the future, there's a best opportunity, but we're looking at what we can work in with time frames. And again, sometimes it doesn't work out, not because you didn't make the most of that opportunity, because somebody else made an opportunity, because somebody else fell through, because somebody else, the person looking at, let's say a job, looking at your application was going through a really rough process and then dropped the ball on their job and then just hired the first person because they'd only processed X amount of, interviews and didn't get to yours till last.
Yeah.
So there's a lot in play. Even your best opportunities, your windows for opportunities involve other people and other things.
Like for me too, when I say something like, I usually get like a vision and then I can see what it looks like outside. So I'm like, where are we at? Spring, summer, winter, fall. And I can see into like a season, like this opportunity is going to happen, but I really feel like it's connected to spring for you. And let's say it doesn't happen spring of this year, but it happens spring of next year. But it still happens spring. So it's hard for me to know, especially when you are saying, since there's no time on the other side, am I seeing something for this year? Am I seeing something for next year? And is the importance of this just so that there's an awareness in the physical world that this is an opportunity that's coming? And now you have this 3 to 4 months or year to create an alignment in your life where this thing can happen for you, and it doesn't feel rushed, and it doesn't feel like, oh my God, in 3 months I have to be ready for this opportunity because Jordan said it's going to happen. Maybe it is a year from now, maybe it is the spring of the following year. I don't really know. All I know is, in the vision that I got, it was springtime or winter or whatever, and I can share with you exactly what I get, because again, these messages aren't for me. So if I don't share exactly what's popping into my head, or what symbolism or song or movie or whatever is popping into my head, I can't help navigate a timeline at all.
Or like if you picked up a heart and you're like, ooh, probably close to Valentine's Day, February. So October.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting when we're looking at like time frames.
Yeah.
And not to mention that sometimes I've mentioned time frames for people. They've absolutely fucking panicked, done nothing about that time frame, and then we're like, it didn't happen for me. I'm like, because you freaked out.
Yeah.
You self-sabotaged because I told you something big that you felt you weren't ready for was going to happen in this time frame, and you self-sabotaged your way out of it.
Or it could be something like the opportunity does arise for you, but then some catatonic event also happens in your life. And even though it was there and it was an option, this other thing took precedence over it. So it couldn't happen yet because this other thing happened that derailed the whole process from happening.
Yeah.
Next question. I want to show. What the heck? Show. So how often do you guys suggest we get readings? This is why I changed what I did on my website, where now I will only do one a month, because so much information comes up in any session anyone books with me, whether it's 30 minutes, an hour, 3-question reading. That's a lot of information to have, and it does need time to play out. Before I connect again and there's new energy and there's new information to be able to give any sort of insight into anything. So for me, and every reader's different. I know readers who will only read you once a year. I know readers who are every 4 to 6 weeks. I know readers who are every 6 months. I know readers who will read you every single day if you want them to. Yeah. It depends on the reader, and it depends on the boundary that that reader has because of their reading style. And it also...
go ahead.
It also depends on the topics you want. So let's say that you book a session with me this month and it is all health. It's physical health, it's mental health, it's how you show up, it's how you're processing things. It's a lot of trauma, it's a lot of grieving, and it's a lot of growing. And then you let that happen for this month. And then next month, it's like, oh my God, you did it. You processed all that stuff. And now you have stuff like opportunities showing up for you. So it's a whole new reading you're getting in a whole new month because you did the work of the previous month. Whereas if it's something like a projection, if it's like a prediction, not projection, and it's like, you know, you have these opportunities coming up to travel, or you have this opportunity coming up to, you know, a large purchase, like home or car or something, and that doesn't happen within that month, and then you come back the next month and you want the reading on the exact same thing, don't do that. Because I've already given you the information and I've already told you the timeline for when that'll happen, and this is what I'm seeing in that timeline. And if none of the things in the timeline are happening yet, it's not time yet. The markers aren't there yet on the journey for this thing to unfold. Let's read something new because you already have all the information on that. The only time this is different is if we're closer to it and I can get more information on it because it's about to happen. Because I've had that happen too, where I've done a prediction and it was like, maybe it was something legally for someone. And then the following, they're like, oh, well, it didn't happen in the winter. And then the following winter, it's going to happen. And I'm like, oh my gosh, watch out for this, pay attention for this. Remember when we did this reading last year and then all that stuff was going to happen? Here's more information on it, because now we're closer to it and I can get more details on it because it's about to happen. And you've already done the work to get you to this point to be able to handle whatever this legal situation is.
Yeah. There's too many factors. If you change, if other people change.
I'll be right back.
Okay. You have to take the opportunities and do what you can. Just trust that sometimes the reason why it didn't happen is because something else was supposed to happen, or there was going to be a better opportunity for a even bigger thing coming soon. If you're talking about career and there's an opportunity coming up, but your boss really sucks, but if you wait, 6 more months, he's going to get fired, and then somebody new is going to come in and they're going to be awesome and they're going to see your potential, and now you got the promotion that you wanted that would have destroyed you with the bad boss, but now you have an amazing supportive boss. Where before you could have got that promotion, but your boss would have driven you nuts to the point of quitting, where now the next opportunity rolls around, you got the promotion from a good boss that supports you, and it's just keep moving on up. So there's a lot of things at play when we do these readings. But did we want to mention what next week's topic is going to be about?
I do, and I couldn't hear you, but there is one more thing that I want to add to that. You may have already done it, but when it comes to like how often should you get a reading, that's more so like for the one-on-one readings. like I go live a lot and I do topic-based lives. So if maybe we read health and then I'm going to do a topic-based live that's like finance, and because we haven't read that yet, you want to book with the live, book it. I'm not just like I'll read you one time every month on every type of way that I read. It's the topic. I don't want to continue to read that topic over and over and over again. So the live readings don't count when it comes to me saying I'll only read you once a month. I'll read you once a month on something we've already talked about and an organic connection between you and I in a one-on-one reading. I don't want to read that every time I go live either. I don't want to answer the same. That's why I do topic-based lives. Sometimes there'll be an open channel where you guys can ask me anything and everything. Sometimes it'll be like I did the last one, January predictions. I don't know if I'm going live this week, but if I do, it'll have a topic. And I want to change because, before I used to go live and it would just be open channel every single time, but I was having the same problem, same questions, same topics, same things every single week. And that's frustrating for a reader. So that's why I've changed that too, whereas I'm now narrating what the topic's going to be, what we're going to be looking into. And if you want to book into that, you can. And if you don't want information on that, don't book that session. And then you have the opportunity to book a one-on-one if none of the topics you like were ones you wanted to interact with that month, But then that also, then there's the whole connection to money and finances too, and knowing as a reader that you're spending entirely too much time and money on me, and knowing that that is not okay, and trying to navigate that moving forward without singling out specific people and saying something, because then people think that oh, you're bullying me, you're doing this to me, you're doing that to me. So even as readers, we have to come up with all-encompassing ways even to handle things like this moving forward, and being able to grow our businesses and make money, because we are running businesses, without having clients who throw money at us all the time. Because engagement isn't just about money. It's showing up, it's commenting, it's liking, it's sharing, it's being present. It's not necessarily how much more juice can I squeeze out of this lemon? If a reader is looking at their clients like that, that's a major problem.
Yeah. And then also too, when it comes to showing up, we discussed earlier about leaving reviews, just tell people. You don't have to spend money constantly and think that if you don't, that you're not connected to us or you're not helping us or whatever. You can just tell someone, be like, hey, I see that you're this, 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 and this. This is similar to what I talked about in my reading with Jordan. I feel like it would be beneficial for you to book with her. And then on the squeezing us for every last drop, listen, eventually we'll break up with you before we lose all our juice.
Exactly.
I'm not out here to sacrifice myself. I am a very service-based person, but I will not say yes to someone and no to myself.
And that is something that I'm learning. That is a whole process that I'm going through right now, with even breaking up with that connection that I have to myself, because I have done it for too long, too many times, and devalued myself because I'm saying yes to someone when I haven't even sat with myself to see how I even feel about it. It's just a knee-jerk reaction that I have to just be available to everybody. And I have to stop doing that.
I have also done that for a long time, and it is one of the hardest things that I'm doing, and I actively have to work on choosing myself every day.
Yes.
Jordan, I know that sometimes you tell us important things during a theme-based reading that we need to know. I love that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll break character or theme because you need to hear it. I'm not going to, withhold information that is imperative to you because I'm doing something theme-based, but I also don't want to open the door either to being like, oh, today's about finance, but then I do a mediumship message and then people start sending me money because they also want mediumship when I'm doing finance. That's my whole thing with it.
For me, I think a lot of people, oh, birth chart analysis, we talk about this, that, and the other. There's so much more you can do with your birth chart, which is why my menu is so long.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes you do just want to focus on a certain thing, but is it an option with astrology? This is just going through me. Yes. Like there is so much you can do beyond just a basic analysis. This is you. This is where you're going through now based on where your planets and luminaries are and where the planets and luminaries are now. You can do so much more, which is why I have such a huge menu, because sometimes people are like, I need something, but it's not like normal. Like some people feel like they need a very specific thing. And that is why every now and then I'm like, you know what? You can get that out of a birth chart. And I'll post that as an option for a reading.
Mm-hmm.
So focusing like that, the very specific topic, yes, it's awesome. But also, too, now people know just how detailed and how far down it can go. Like if Jordan never posted that she does finance-based readings, somebody might not have thought that that was an option. Or
Mm-hmm.
Mercury retrograde-based readings, someone might not have known that that was something that they could do with her. And now they do, because she
Yeah.
offered it.
That was like the Halloween live. So many people didn't know that there was all these options that I had in the cauldron and the Halloween live until I was pulling them. And like, yeah, there's endless opportunities with this. It would just be frustrating for me on my website if I literally listed it all.
I literally listed it all.
That's why I like going live though, because then people can see like, oh, I didn't know she did that. I'm gonna go book that with her.
It's difficult. Well, it's difficult for me to, I mean, I have done lives. It's honestly difficult for me to go live on my own to offer readings just because, I don't know. I'm not going to say silence scares me, but I start to feel and this is that shadow thing working and I'm aware of it. I start to feel some type of way if I'm the only one talking.
Mm-hmm.
I start to feel like negatively about myself if I'm the only one talking. So if the chat's not popping off and I don't have a ton of engagement, it's just me doing a lot of talking until people come in and I feel gross about it. I know I should probably do readings on live more, but right now I'm fine with my one-on-ones, especially considering the fact that I'm so psychology and astrology based.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be telling anybody's dirty laundry on
Yeah.
a live. I will. I'll ask permission. I see this gross, this difficult thing. Are you okay that I share that with the group?
Yeah, I'll ask that too. Like, ooh, that's juicy. You want me to say that on live, or I don't know if you
Yeah.
want me to say that on live. Most
Yeah.
times they do, and I'll just say it, and everyone's like, oh shit.
Yeah. And sometimes I pop off in a live too. Now, don't get me wrong, it needed to be said. I call it honoring the craft. If it needs to be said, it needs to be said. But good Lord, later I'm like, as I think about it later too, I'm like, I said that shit. And then like her boyfriend could have been in the live. Or
Mm-hmm.
her boyfriend could go back and watch the live. I'm like, and then I'm like, oh, well, he needed to know too.
Yeah.
So
It's taken, honestly, like doing lives and stuff, it's taken me a long time to not care about things like that, because I used to not, I'd be like, nah, because I know that someone's going to see this and it's going to piss somebody off. And like, even people who like, if they were in a relationship and now they're not, but then everyone from that relationship still follows my page. And then it's like, well, if I say that, that could be misconstrued. I can't live that way anymore.
yeah.
So I'm like, we're giving all the information when it comes up. We're doing it right here and now. And if it ruffles some feathers, let them be ruffled. I don't know.
Yeah. Basically.
Not a problem. What
That's
I said
how
was
you
what
have
needed
to
to
do
be
it.
said to the person that it needed to be said to, and that's it.
You kind of have to do that sometimes.
Mm-hmm. You can go ahead and announce next week, though, if you want to. I totally forgot what we're doing next week.
So next week is the day where we will not be available on Sunday.
Yes.
So we're either we have not figured out the fine details, and that's fine yet. So It's either going to be a live on another day besides Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
or a pre-recorded video posted on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
We're still working things out. Jordan's getting over being sick. Sevon is actively sick. My week was a shit show. So we're actively just out here figuring out our problems. We will post about it when we figure it out. However, next week's topic, we're going to start with spirituality and mental health.
Yes. Yes.
How it connects, how it makes sense, how it doesn't make sense, how it can help, how it can hurt. So it's going to be a very mental health driven episode. And that is especially, we will be in the second half of heightened seasonal depression season with that next day, January 19th. The sun moves into Aquarius, and that is the last big burst of energy in seasonal depression season. So we figured it was appropriate to launch at that
So wait,
time.
it's the burst into seasonal depression or the burst coming out of seasonal depression?
Out of.
That's interesting for me alone because I haven't felt that disconnect from myself, but I feel it coming. So I need to book with you.
So it happens in two bursts. We have, at least this is how my astrology brain works. We have the first burst in Libra season,
Mhm.
and the sun is our ego, our vitality, our will. Okay. So it is literally the light. It is the driving factor in our life. The sun is in its fall in Libra. So as soon as Libra season hits, we start to feel some type of way. Generally, though, with Libra energy, it's a distraction of other people. We don't realize it's us until we're into Scorpio season when things go dark. We start having a very different internal dialogue with ourselves. Then we're completely distracted in Sagittarius season, where we're doing all the most to prove that there's nothing wrong by covering it up with joys and escapism while there is absolutely things wrong. Then Capricorn season comes around and we're all just trying to get back to zero after we blew up our whole lives in Sagittarius season. And then Aquarius season hits. And this is when the sun is in its detriment. And this is why the end of seasonal depression season hits so hard.
That's interesting.
And then once we're out, we're into Pisces season, where we're just dealing with the aftermath in a very subconscious and emotional way. But yeah, the reason why that last month, February, hits so hard as we come out of seasonal depression season is because the sun is in detriment. And I will tell you, the sun in Aquarius, where the sun is in its detriment, the sun does not give a shit about your feelings.
Yeah, that's honestly like, so February to May are my like seasonal depression months. So I need to get with you and find out why. I don't have it like wintertime. I'm usually okay. And if I'm not okay, I can still push through. But February to May are usually my like, I'm really internalizing a lot of shit and I'm really disconnected from myself and I'm really fucking deep off into some dark ass depression. Like my switch is just off. And people around me wouldn't know that because I know how to mask it really well, but like I know it. You'd probably know it too because of my chart.
Yeah. So you have to look at like Libra season to Aquarius season. What houses are the sun navigating through your chart too? Is it super deep and all about you and very subconscious, or is it up with others fucking up your whole day? So you have to look at that in your chart too, and those activations as well. And then, are you an Aquarius? Are you a Libra? So you're Libra, you're having your solar return at peak times for when seasonal depression starts for a lot of people. So obviously I'm a Sagittarius. Seasonal depression can move in, and then Sagittarius sun moves up and it's like, I ain't never been sad.
Yeah.
So it depends on a lot of factors, but that is generally how that works out. Is because it is during that season where at the start of Libra season, the sun experiences its fall and then its detriment in Aquarius later on. So it's the start and the finish.
Victoria said she would love to book a reading with you. Doesn't know astrology is all new to her. I know of it, but I'm not very educated. But it does interest me very much. If you want to book with her, we do have her website linked in the ticker. It's a little purple ticker, and I always get it wrong, so I'm gonna wait for it to come. I'll just let you say it.
AscendingShadows.com. You just go to appointments, and I have a laundry list of astrology options. I generally, for first-time people who have never had an astrology reading, I say book the astrological wheel. It is an overview of everything, and it is a birth chart analysis plus a card pool.
I'm putting your website in the comments.
I don't think I have anything coming up to where I would have to adjust my availability. My availability is pretty open. If you are only available on weekends, it's a request appointment only. Yeah, my appointments are pretty available right this now is my down season. This is what I call my loaf season where I'm just loafing at home. Yeah. There's so much you can do with your timers. I do recommend the astrological wheel because it gives you a very good overview of the whole thing.
Yeah, that was the one that I did. So when I'm talking to you guys about the session that I had with Stephanie, I did the astrological wheel. And you're gonna know. So I would record it. I recorded mine and I re-listen to it all the time because there is so much information that comes out about your whole entire life, how you show up in your life, how you're influencing, how you're being influenced. I mean, there's so much. And to be able to record it and go back and listen to it, there'll be things that you forgot about or that you missed. And then as these seasons unfold in your life, you're like, oh, she did say that. And then there's the guidance all over again without having to ask her 700 questions. You have it right there to replay as much as you need to.
And honestly, like, I throw a ton of information out quick. And unless you are very, very into the spiritual world and you've worked with a lot of readers, people are always surprised about how much you can actually get out of someone in an astrology reading.
Yeah, like the stuff that even comes out. When I got my reading, I didn't know what to expect. I never had an astrology reading. No one's ever read my birth chart, never done a natal chart, never did anything. No idea what I'm walking into. The first 3 things she said to me, my jaw was on the floor. I was like, how the fuck did you look at some planets on the day that I was fucking born and you know this about me? No one knows this. I've never even said this out loud to anybody. How do you know that? I'm like, bitch, psychic.
I don't know. And even if I was, I don't name it. I do what I do. I go with the flow. You know what? I should get a reading from another astrologer because I don't know how other astrologers operate.
I don't either, but I know that you got more going on than just a birth chart. I know that psychically.
That's why I do put intuitive birth chart analysis because, I don't always know what's going on. I just do what I do when I do it and say what I say because I feel like I need to. But then there is the astrology.
Yes, the astrological wheel. I put it in the comments. That way you know exactly what to look for on her website. That is the one that I booked with her, and you get it's like that's the one for the whole year, right?
So it's the total birth chart analysis, and it kind of goes through roughly what are going to be the major turning points. I'll hit the heaviest ones hard. So it may not be, because if I was to go month to month to month or so, that's a 9-hour reading.
Yeah, we didn't do that, but it was like, all right, girl, here's your big ass moments. You need to have like one by this date.
Yeah, the big thing.
This is an opportunity.
What's gonna hit hard? Yeah. Like, it may feel crazy, but in 8 months, all of this shit leads up to this, and things are gonna fall off, or things are gonna take off, or whatever the situation is. I hit the hard hitting ones always. I will never leave you. And if you want to find out what happens in 6 to 8 months, rebook again. Like, no, I'm gonna warn every client, especially those that book the astrological wheel, the big, major, heavy hitting things that are coming and how it will affect you.
Hippie wants to know, does your chart change from year to year?
It depends. If you do progressed charts, yes, I tend to stick with the basics. I don't like to work with progressed charts because to me, I can see your growth in your actual birth chart. Some astrologers need solar progression and lunar progression charts to see how someone has evolved. I personally don't need that to see your progression. I can look at your OG birth chart and see that. So for me, I don't, if you use astrology is interesting because some people believe very heavily that we change and that you have to look at progressed birth charts because people have changed, but I can see your growth in your original birth chart. So it depends on what astrologer you go to. But for me, you are always you, but what you've been through shapes you. So it's not that you're different, it's an expression on how these planets and luminaries now look for you.
So the change would be like with the highlights on every year and not necessarily like your chart changed.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So, and then also too, like I can see like after someone's Saturn return, what that growth would have looked like. I don't need a progress chart to now know that they took their Saturn Aries and now they're in a Saturn Taurus. Yeah, you grounded, you blew your life up when Saturn was in Aries, and now you realize that you have to start at square one again. I don't need a progress chart to see the change.
So could you, like, I'm 34 now, but could you go look at my chart from the time when I went through mine and tell me that same information, even though I've already been through it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's so cool. So you could literally do past, present, future with astrology too. That's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I sometimes will like remember shit that I went through in my childhood and look up the chart of what was going on in my chart at that time.
That is crazy. So astrology is literally limitless too.
Eh,
It really is.
yeah. Because I never even thought about that. But yes, I do it to myself sometimes. Like when I first started doing heavy birth chart analysis, I went back to the day I hurt my back. And I was like, what was going on? Apparently I get injured in Mercury retrogrades. That's just what I do. That's my pattern. So I am very, very careful during Mercury retrograde. Some people are on lunar cycles. If the moon is hitting a difficult situation in your chart, that's when they're going to be the highest potential of being injured or getting sick.
Have you noticed any patterns with that? Like, oh shit, moon's in Aquarius, all you Leos, watch out.
So it depends on sect. So whether you have a day chart or a night chart, is the sun in charge? Is the moon in charge? How strong your Mercury is? Is it in detriment? Is it working well? Is it in Virgo? Virgo and Gemini, period, because they're ruled by Mercury, have the potential because Mercury is so strong in their chart to be injured or get sick during a Mercury retrograde. But it really all depends on the whole chart as to whether or not you're in those cycles. And then some cycles may only come around like once a year or whatever, but when they come around, they hit hard.
So the planet that rules your sun sign is important. Like
Yes.
me, I'd be Venus because I'm Libra, right?
Yes. So, and then for modern astrologers, you have a chart ruler. And that chart ruler is the ruler of your first house. So for you, Libra, Venus, for me, Cancer, the moon. And I do get on lunar cycles, but mine are female based. Not injury based. But then, oh my God, I can't even talk about this. There's Time Lords, and there's also the Master of the Nativity in Hellenistic astrology, and how you find the master of your nativity takes 7 to 10 business days to go through your chart and all the rules to figure that out.
So what is that answer? Like, what is the reason to find that?
Who is the overall, what planet is really in charge of this chart, which makes the expressions of every luminary and every planet hit different. So like the master of my nativity is Jupiter. I expand a lot. It's hard for me to focus because I take one tiny little fragment of information and I build on it. In general, even at my worst, I'm still weirdly optimistic. I seek out comfort. It really is like that Jupiter expression of every one of my placements, including the bad ones or the challenging ones, like my Mars. I will take something somebody said to me that is bad and do a Jupiter to it and build on it and build on it and build on it and build on it until I'm the most mad I've ever been in my life. So it's an expression that leaks onto every aspect of my chart.
This is really cool. Fun fact, I know there was a full moon on the day I was born.
Full moon babies. Oh my God. I'm so jealous. Full moon babies just consistently reach potential. I'm a new moon baby. I feel like if I ever want change in my life, I have to restart everything. I envy full moon babies.
How do we look that up? Is it part of our chart?
Yeah, it'll say it on your chart, but if you want to know the exact without having to look at all the degrees things and doing the math on your own, just Google what day, what was the moon on this day, this month, this year, this time.
I'm gonna throw this one up here while I look this up because I think it's hilarious.
But yeah, new moon babies are it's so bad because it's like if we want any change in our life, we literally have to restart ourselves. We're full moon babies, have just such this amazing way of just progressing and then like on to the next and on to the next and on to the next. I will say though, full moon babies progress emotionally. So where I can stop an emotion and then restart it when I need to, so I can process emotion later, full moon babies react in the real.
I was born under a waxing gibbous moon, and that represents transition.
A waxing gibbous is before, so you have waning and waxing. It's when you're looking at those, you're looking at the in-between spaces.
That's what this says.
In between the major movements of the day.
Transition from the intuitive and spontaneous flow of the new moon to the more deliberate actions of the full moon. You are the in-between. Which makes sense with being a Libra. All that just makes too much sense. It's kind of freaky. The balance, the scale, the in-between, all of it.
It can definitely be very, very on the nose when you see the development of your personality that way. So I actually married a full moon baby, and he reacts emotionally in the real time, and I can stop it dead in its tracks and restart my releasing process when I feel like I'm ready to, or I'm in a safe place to. He cannot. His emotions are written all over his face, and it comes out in very real time. And he's a Libra moon.
My husband's also waxing gibbous.
So you can do a whole compatibility thing on the phases of the moon. It's very, very interesting because some people are like, there's no compatibility if you're directly the same moon or opposite. My husband and I are very compatible being a full moon and a new moon baby. And I feel like if you're the same on an emotional standing ground, how could you not be compatible if you held the same emotional space?
Yeah.
So
that's cool because that goes beyond, I guess it doesn't really go beyond the chart, but that goes beyond what I would think would be a compatibility in the chart, what moon you were born under. That's what I keep saying. Astrology is actually fucking limitless. And I'm so grateful to have met you because of the amount of shit that you're cool as fuck, but because of the amount of shit that I'm learning too. And like how drawn I've been to this, but only to the zodiac aspect of astrology. Because it's too much. I have like 6 books about astrology behind me that I swore I was going to get into astrology and learn all this stuff. So the fact that like you're there now where I can learn all this stuff from you is incredible.
Everything matters in compatibility, but one of the biggest ones is what's your emotional baseline?
Yeah.
And then the next one is communication. And like the progress that we make through our sun sign development over how we show up in the world and how we show up for others. So it does, your emotional baseline matters in compatibility.
What about your oh, don't leave my brain. I was literally love language. How do you find someone's love language on their birth chart?
It'll have to do a lot with, okay, so I'll look at someone's Venus and Taurus and be like, you're a physical touch love language.
I want to do something like this with you so bad. I want to test it because I want to do it psychically and tell someone what their love language is, and then I want you to pull up their birth chart and just fucking turn the thing around and be like, you're wrong or you're right for whatever reason. I want to do that. That'd be so fucking fun.
I mean, yeah,
I read love languages all the time. That's a major part of like the relationship things that I do, where someone maybe isn't feeling loved, but they are loved. The love languages are just different, but love exists there and they're meant to be with this person. They're just going catatonic right now because they didn't get a damn gift on Christmas, but this person isn't a gift giver. They got up and made you breakfast, made your favorite coffee, and fucking put gas in your car, and they're acts of service. They ain't gift, but you're pissed the fuck off because you're a gift. Now you want to end the relationship and go catatonic, but this person's in love with you. Just because I didn't do it this way doesn't mean they don't love you. And that would be so fucking fun to do that, where you can pull it up in their chart.
So, and this is why like a synastry report is just basically couples counseling.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to mention all of that. I'm going to mention all of that in a synastry reading. Because how you react, you're still individuals. This is how you come together. And not everything is going to line up. And that does not mean that the relationship needs to be over. Self-awareness, people.
Also, here's another one that I want you to answer, because I have been in readings with someone where they think that their love language is one thing, but they got taught that love language. Their love language actually isn't that. And that's why they push love away, because they don't have the organic connection to themselves anymore, and they think love has to look like this because love was taught to me in this way, but that's not their actual love language. And that's a pet peeve that I have with some people, because I'm like, no, dude, this is not true for you and your love language, and you just don't see it yet, and that's okay. But also, you're going to keep sabotaging love in any way that it comes in, because it's a projection that someone else had of how you are supposed to love, but it's not actually how you love. And until you can reconnect with your own love language and not mirror someone else's love language and try to be this perfect version of yourself because you felt abandoned by this person and you're trying so hard to fight for that love, it's blocking love for you in another way. I want to, oh yes, be like, fucking Stephanie said it too. She saw it in the birth chart. It's not just me. I'm not crazy. I mean,
I can look it up. And also, like, something like that would be like the expression of love from the mother, the expression of love from the father. How do they show up in the fart? I mean,
let's be so for real. Sometimes they do be showing up like a fart.
Yes, they do. How they show up in the chart. And then I like to look at the second house pretty clearly too, because the second house is morality and values. Do you even have the ability in your chart built in to value others?
Yeah.
And to assign others a value. And what is that value? So for me, I'm a Leo second house. I value entertainment and passionate people. Do you have drives? Do you have motivations? Are you a bump on the log? Are you boring as fuck? Like, I look at all of those things. I prioritize the entertainment and the show value and passionate people, because my assignment on values and how I value people is from a Leo lens. Are you a leader? Are you sure of yourself? Are you a wet blanket that's manipulated by everyone? And even though that's sad as hell, I can't vibe with that.
Yeah.
When it comes to assigning value to people in my life. So for you, it would be, ooh, Scorpio. Do you not fuck with my narrative?
For me, specific? Oh. So what is it?
Am I allowed to just be me without you trying to change me?
Oh,
that's how you assign value, is the people's ability to just be with you and not try to change you.
Yeah.
Those are going to be your highest valued people.
Yeah, you and I had a very intense talk about that during my reading when I was talking about how I struggle with that. I'll get into these friendships and relationships, and then it's like what I can be for them and how I'm supposed to show up for them, them, and I feel lost in it, and I wind up walking away from it.
Yeah, sometimes it's rough. Everybody paints in modern astrology. Well, a lot of astrologers. I don't. I'm a little different. As Libra risings as being kind of like the gifted children because they're so magnetic that people just come to them and they can get whatever they want. And I'm like, it comes at a cost.
It really does.
It comes at a cost. Nothing is just good.
Yeah. And it's that whole thing too of like, do they value me because I'm a human being that deserves to be valued? Or do they value me because I offer them so much? It's like that whole like connection to people that you see like on TV. Do they love me or do they want me for the money? Not because I have a shitload of money, but just to connect the two. Like you're always wondering, do they really want to be my friend or is this about what I can do for them? Do they actually genuinely care about me? And that's a fucking big trauma.
And that's another Scorpio topic, is taking it deep.
Yeah.
It's not just that surface level action. It's deep, subconsciously. How do I show up as energy for this person? And are they just using that? There's also a lack of trust there.
Oh, 100%. That's a very, very deep wound that like all my beginning memories starts in my beginning memories of being like 2 years old, 1 year old. And who can I trust?
That is how you're built.
Totally makes sense. But then there's that part of me too that wants so bad to just be able to just blind faith, blind trust people. And it's like a 50-50. Sometimes it works and it's a good thing and it's positive, and sometimes it just blows up in my fucking face.
Every darkness in our chart has a light counterpart.
Yeah. So what will the light counterpart be for Scorpio?
For you personally, so being grounded. If we're looking at the second house, and we're looking at values, the opposite of Scorpio is Taurus, and Taurus is another Venus ruled sign, and you're used to her energy, which is no matter how bad it looks, it could always be worse, and there's always something that stands out that looks good. So the good, right? The thing that's so good and makes all that other stuff just not worth dwelling on. There's also the grounding aspect of Taurus. Scorpio is very locked in how they feel about things, where Taurus is very like, Taurus is simple energy. So it doesn't get locked into things other than what brings them pleasure and comfort. So it's like, you know what? At the end of the day, it doesn't even really matter because I am me and these are my things.
Mm.
Go ahead. Oh, no, honey, I'm on live. No.
I understand there's two left.
Then I want at least one. Okay. Don't, dude, no, right, not right now. Rocker, I'm on live. This is real life people when your children don't understand. But yes. So, yeah. Next week we're going to cover mental health and hopefully I won't be interrupted.
I mean, even if we are, it's
yeah, it happens. If it's not a cat, it'll be a kid.
I literally had to run out there because my dog, make sure he was okay. So that's why I was like, hold on, I'll be right back.
And it happens. And we have to use the bathroom sometimes. And sometimes we say fart instead of chart.
Yeah. It's just real. It's raw.
Because we're really, really tired.
You're getting us real live.
Yes. So always rough, real, raw.
Yes. Do you want to tell them a little bit about some of the stuff we'll be talking about for next week?
So how damaging just light and love can be is one of them.
Yeah. That's
that, you know, working with the dark and with the shadows as well. How your mental health shows up in your chart. I'm sure Sevon will have some things about how your mental health shows up in tarot cards. Mm-hmm. And I know you talk a lot about channeling with people's mental health and trauma and things like that. So it's going to be like not even just in general terms, which we will talk about general terms about mental health, how to not sabotage it, how to work with it, how to be positive about it, but how it shows up in our readings with you.
Mm-hmm.
So those are going to be some major topics. And then the thing that like drives us all crazy is that love and light thing and ignoring the dark. So we're probably going to harp on that a lot.
Yeah. And so you guys will fully understand what we mean when we say that. Like what we mean when we say incorporating the shadow, what we mean when we're talking about shadow, what we mean with the whole love and light thing. Because love and light on its own is not a bad thing.
No.
It's the weaponization of love and light and the overlooking the shadow and the overlooking accountability and all the things that need to happen to be love and light. You cannot be one without the other. We walk around all day long with the shadow behind us. We're walking in the light followed by a shadow. We have to be able to incorporate it all. So it'll be a very deep dive and you'll fully understand by the end of it what we mean when we say shadow body, light body, the problems with love and light, and incorporating everything that is you into your being.
And when you think about it metaphorically, how I work with shadow is integrating it. The one time you can't see your shadow during the day is at high noon, when your shadow is literally sitting within you. It's an integration point of during the day when you and your shadow come together because the sun's shining directly down. So when the sun is at its highest, when it is pointing out, when it's shining the brightest on you, when it is doing all of its thing and pointing out all of these things on you, when you have that moment of enlightenment, the shadow is integrated into the self.
I never even thought about it that way. That's a great way to explain it.
So this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to high noon ourselves so that we can shed enough light on everything that we can fully integrate the shadow into the self.
I also know that we said we were going to do readings on this live, but in lieu of Sevon not being here with us today, we are going to bypass that and we will add readings onto another live and we'll let you guys know when we're going to do that.
Yes. Because we don't want to leave her out of the readings.
Mm-mm.
And it's not fun being sick.
No, not at all. We got to hold space for her and we're going to do it. This is how we're going to do it.
We'll always be available to do our thing.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Anytime you guys want to book with us, our availabilities are on our website. You can catch us anytime. You guys know the rules. She's a once a month. I'm a once a month. I'm not sure about Sevon. You would have to message her and ask. I don't know. I don't know what her rules are yet. I should.
It's probably similar.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. But I don't want to put that out there if she doesn't care.
Yeah.
So you guys would have to ask her. But I think we're going to go ahead and end it out here. And next week, again, won't be on Sunday. We're not even sure if it'll be live yet. But we will let you know as we know and as things progress. And the topic will not change. The topic is going to be spirituality and mental health. And part of that will be the love and light aspect. So we will see you guys sometime next week. Bye.
Bye.